Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast.
Coming out of SideQuest Studios, this is the Simpsons Index, episode 74. Hello there, I'm your host, Elliot Jay O'Neill, and joining me tonight is BT Calloway.
That's my pseudonym, don't wear it out.
And also joining us is new guest, Daniel Pollock.
How we doing, everybody?
Yep, we just gave them enough time to answer at home.
Yeah, they needed to know. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Well, welcome to the podcast, Daniel. This is The Simpsons Index, the podcast where we watch and review 3 episodes of The Simpsons at a time, but the catch is each episode comes from a different decade. And yeah, welcoming you to the show. You're a big Simpsons fan from back in the day?
Absolutely, man. I've been watching The Simpsons for a very long time, since pretty much I can remember. I was talking about it the other day that as a young man, I used to have these little night terrors.
Yeah?
It was like a 6-year-old. Yeah. I'd be freaking out. And then my mum would kind of just shit out a lot of videos she put in that she's recorded of The Simpsons. So she'll put it on and just kind of sit me down and watch The Simpsons with me until I calm down. So
right.
The Simpsons has saved my life, essentially.
Beautiful, man.
I know,
Wow.
right? Yeah. I can see you crying.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing. To have them as such an important security blanket.
Absolutely.
So is there any episode that you particularly love from the classic days? Or
Okay. Look, I've always loved Hank Scorpio. I've always loved You Only Move
Awesome.
Twice. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
hard to look past it. And then basically anything that John Lovitz does. Yeah, Artie Ziff's, the director of the Streetcar, the musical.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
Oh my God. As a theater actor, like looking back on that one, it took me a while to kind of get into it, but now looking back on that one, absolute genius.
Yeah.
New Orleans, stinking, rotting pot.
Yeah. And yeah, there is a theatrical element to John Lovett's characters,
Yeah.
like the painting tutor as well.
Oh, of course.
Another
yeah.
triumph.
To take praise very well.
That's right. Well, anyway, we'll get back to the classic episodes later in the show, but for now, we just watched an episode from the HD era. This was Season 22, Episode 19, The Real Housewives of Fat Tony. It was first released in May of 2011, and it was written by Dick Blasucci?
Dick Blasucci.
Dick Blasucci, maybe? It's got a double C-I like Darucci, you know, the bed guy.
The angry bedman, yeah.
You know, if you got a Dick Blasucci, see a doctor.
This is a PSA from the Simpsons Index. And in this episode, Selma gets married to Fat Tony. What?
I know.
But then we find out she might not be the only woman. Guys, what did you think?
Whoa. The first thing I noticed is that I have to take notes. The other two guys are taking notes the entire time, and I kind of walked out. I was like, "I'll remember it all. It's fine." And then, like 2 minutes in, I've forgotten what the first bit was. I went, oh, great. Yep, that's how it goes. I should have listened to the guys who've done 73 episodes before this.
Well, we don't want to tell you how to live.
Exactly. It's a process.
No, actually, I did the first 10 episodes of the Simpsons Index without taking notes.
Always notes. Always from the very beginning, even when I was so drunk I wasn't coherent.
But I mean, it's easy for the classic episodes because it's just like muscle memory, like learning to ride a bike again. I assume I don't know how to ride a bike. But yeah, this episode, I actually found it surprisingly good.
There were moments that I did enjoy. I thought that the B plot, I thought, started really strongly. I like the idea of Bart being this truffle pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, just talking of Bart as a truffle pig was kind of great, but I just thought it sort of petered out
a little bit, yeah, which is a shame because I also quite like that beginning. And there's a part in the A story around about the middle where after Selma gets captured, there was just so rapid fire good jokes, I couldn't even get them all down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised how much I like this one. It kind of falls apart at the end, which is a really, really big shame. Because they were doing so well for so long. I think I got a lot of laugh out louds on this. I'm stunned when you said, "Oh yes, Selma marries Fat Tony." I was like, "Fuck."
Great.
Yeah.
But
it
Here
is
we
the
go.
premise of a bad Simpsons episode.
and yet,
It's easy to do a Selma marries someone episode. They've done it plenty of times before, you know. What's her last name now? Terwilliger, Hutz McClure, and
not Nahazapin of Adeline. So that's
no,
why she could-
it was close.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, at this point, it is a cliche for them to fall back on this.
Yeah, they even throw in the joke, "Oh, what about her wedding to Disco Stew?"
Yeah.
They do that twice, don't they? There's a few little jokes in there that they kind of toss in.
Yeah, I thought that disco stew one was so stupid, but I laughed and I hate myself for
I know,
laughing
I
at
had the
it.
same thing. It was like, and then he found out she didn't really like disco. It's like, God, that is stupid, but I did laugh. I'm like, come on.
Damn you,
But
episode.
that's his whole deal.
Yeah.
Like, yep.
Yeah. But Daniel, what's like a moment from the story that particularly stood out to you, for better or worse?
Oh, okay. The first thing that comes to me when you say that is Luigi.
Yep.
It was bizarre, just because I don't know if it was an intentional thing to really go for the Italian storyline. Like, oh yeah, you've got the A plot with Fat Tony, and then the B plot being just, oh yeah, by the way, here's Luigi, the guy who usually just yells from the kitchen.
Yeah.
I don't know, just hearing Luigi say more than 2 sentences in a row was like,
Yeah.
this is kind of weird, you know?
It was almost like 2 minutes of like just spread over like 2 different scenes as well. Like, because they start out that scene, he's talking to him in the field when he discovers that Bart can be a truffle pig, and they transition right to the restaurant where he keeps up a Luigi routine now.
That reminds me of one other thing as well. I don't know who's right. You told us who's right in these episodes now, but
Dick Blaskuki.
Dick Blaskuki. I don't know if Dick Blaskuki knows, but people all around a restaurant can't afford to eat truffles. I saw there was 6 or 7 truffles dishes around this table. I was like, oh, I don't know.
Maybe
about
it's
that.
like a share market thing where, like, now that they're plentiful because Bart's such an effective truffle pig that the price has gone down.
Maybe.
But that also brings us to a very strange ending to the B plot that Lisa was eating them all.
Yeah, that was odd.
I really liked that as a twist.
Oh, really?
I know, I did like it as a twist, especially she explains vegetarian food is so boring and this is a way to spice it up.
It's a
And
decent justification.
it did make sense that she's talking about the whole time how she's putting the money in the bank and that's why you're not seeing any of it.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the little bit of a misdirect, which is like, oh, just here's the last one, do whatever you like. It's like, why didn't I give it to someone who deserves it? I'm like, oh, don't just give it to her. You've been cheated by her this whole time, and you can have this sudden heart moment. But they turn it and he gives it to the truffle pig, who was always one. I'm like,
That was kind of sweet.
that was nice. And then it ends with a weird truffle massacre.
Which I will say now, this is my favorite occurrence of Harry Plopper, I think his name was in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Spider Pig, we all know.
Yeah, it's Spider Pig. There is another episode in like season 26 where he's the focus, and I do not look forward to reviewing that one. But in this one, Spider Pig was
I remember that one. Ah.
Yeah. But I mean, in this one, I thought Spider Pig was a welcome addition, actually.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah. Because he wasn't really intrusive.
No.
He's just kind of there and...
Yeah, they were like, we need a pig. We have this character model. Let's just
he's
use
a damn pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, let him be a pig. Let him be a pig.
He had to get work after Homer abandoned him,
Exactly.
assuming
Let
anyway.
him do whatever a spider pig does.
So, BT, what's a moment from the story that stood out to you, for better or worse?
In terms of plotline, I think finding out Selma's the other woman makes a lot of sense. Because the big question is, now that we're in this, how are we getting out of it?
Yep.
And I think that worked reasonably well. I was kind of surprised they didn't switch to some kind of Goodfellas bit. They tend to like Goodfellas.
They do,
But no, this was all Jersey Shore. So.
yeah, this was more taking on reality TV tropes rather than...
which is a bit of a surprising term. It's like, fair enough. We've hit Goodfellas very, very often.
And for no apparent reason, it felt like it just kind of came out of nowhere and they didn't really make any incisive sort of comments. It's just like, oh, here's a couple of Jersey Shore lookalikes and then that's it.
Yeah, I will say it is kind of opportunistic of them to go, okay, Fat Tony, he's Italian, Jersey Shore, they're generally Italian-Americans, so why not take this opportunity to do the parody? But I gotta say, even though I fucking despise any reality television, except for Chopped, but I thought they did a good job of the Jersey Shore sort of parody. And
yeah, I did like that one of them was called The Occurrence instead of The Situation.
Yeah,
which I've never watched that episode, but somehow I know that's what he's called. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like there wasn't many jokes pertaining to it. They just said that. Here's these people,
Yeah,
and then
it kind of felt like they thought the parody was enough alone to not get any jokes. That was a bit of a shame because, up until that point, it was quite strong.
Yeah, well, we usually knock them for the parallel import gags, that just sort of doing the same thing but changing the name of it, so much like Situation and The Occurrence. But I don't know, I think the joke of the Palports alone was funny enough, which is weird for me to say that. It's usually a sticking point for me.
They got some little bits out of it, like when they're playing, I think, beach volleyball, and they're like, losers chug, and Homer's like, oh no, I guess I'll have to chug this beer.
Man, he crushes that thing.
Yeah, good man.
Makes the metal squeeze like it was just a plastic juice popper. I gotta say, the moment from the story that stood out to me was just that it was bizarre that a Selma marries Fat Tony episode worked. And I thought they got to it with a logical place where he initially gets offended by her, then kidnaps her, and then says, "Yeah, I'll cut you." And she goes, "Yeah, give me plastic surgery." They strike up a relationship from there.
Yeah, I think it's just dumb enough to work. It's amazing.
Yeah. But it does fall like dominoes, and the episode gets into it pretty well right away as well.
Yeah, not a lot of wasted time. We start off there just waiting in line at the DMV, and we go from there.
It was pretty much, for the most part, like no fat.
Yeah.
It was all lean all the way through. And, but the thing is, it was almost too lean. It could have gone for another 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like I think you said, BT, it just kind of ends. Like, pull the plug. We're done here.
And that's it.
Which was annoying because I was interested to see what kind of went on from then on in, which says a lot probably for like a later episode. Like, they've got me invested in this story. They've pulled a twist on me last minute. I want to see what kind of happens.
Yeah, the fact that I think all of us were like, oh, okay, instead of, oh, thank God. It says a lot.
Yeah, definitely. So, play count. How many times before tonight do you think you've watched this episode?
I have a weird feeling I have seen this one, even though I don't. I feel like I remember the ending a little bit. So possibly once. I'm going to go a half.
A half. Daniel?
Big fat zero.
Big fat zero.
Or else you wouldn't have got a laugh out of me with the koi on his gutsy gag. Watching Otto eat magic mushrooms and then just look at the cover of Koi on his gutsy.
What is that?
It's a Philip Glass like visual orchestra sort of thing. Or what is it?
Right.
Not an orchestra, like a musical movement, effectively. And it's all about, I think, nature and humanity and stuff. And it's got all these visuals in it that are like slow down close-ups of a rocket taking off, and then all these quick movements of people moving through New York City, and then, I don't know, just all these super stoner things that are working really well.
Watching a flower bloom and wilt
exactly,
in like
shit
the
like
span
that,
of half a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that.
Just
So
typical Philip Glass cerebral shit.
yes.
Oh, okay, because, I didn't get the reference, but I did like when Otto goes, "Ooh, director's commentary." Puts it on the rock and then stares out into the wild blue.
Yeah, I like that. I didn't know the movie either, but there was enough of a reference for you to kind of get it from the situation. So,
well, yeah, because they do the mislead. You think he's actually going to go home and watch the DVD, but then he's just looking at the box, and then you think that's going to be anyway. I thought that was actually a really clever joke. But play count, I've seen this a bunch. I generally like season 22. This used to be on like all my hangover lists, especially like when we're living in Kalara. I want to say that's when.
Yeah, I would have seen half of it at least. Wandered in. Watched, left.
But ultimately, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Structurally, it didn't for me.
Yeah.
I thought I've kind of noticed this structure that happens with probably a lot of the classic episodes of The Simpsons. They start off with one sort of issue, and the end of that issue leads to another issue, and then the rest of the episode's kind of presenting with that issue.
Yeah.
It was sort of there, but then it just went off on this little sort of tangent, went straight through.
Sure.
As opposed to kind of really setting that tone.
Yeah.
And also with the jokes, I think a lot of the jokes didn't have the wit. They were more dumb jokes. I felt like there was not much brevity in it, particularly the way I'm speaking as well. There's not much brevity in what I'm doing here. But there wasn't much brevity in, like, say, Homer saying a lot of the things. Just reminded me of the nun thing when he's like, which was it was still funny, but didn't feel like something that Homer would do as well. And it wasn't brief like Homer would speak. Homer would speak in one-syllable words straight away and get it all done,
That's
But
it.
it just sort of dragged a lot of those jokes, and you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah, like there was a lot of those moments where I feel like they were doing the typical HD Simpsons thing of like taking the extra bite of the joke.
Yeah, which is a shame.
Like when the pig goes crazy after eating the truffle, and then Lisa, after like 10 seconds of this, goes, "Oh, that's why you don't give pig truffle." Yeah, Lisa, we got it. Thanks, Lisa.
Same goes for the bit where he's trying to sketch Patty's inner beauty.
Yeah.
Could have left it at that, and then they just kind of had this weird little 15, 20 second bit of him drawing.
That said, I do like he draws her as like Venus emerging from the ocean, but then you can see him almost struggle to not draw stink lines.
I can't help it.
And he's like, oh.
Yeah, there was a bit of stuff there you could have definitely trimmed. But there are even other moments where I really enjoyed the length that they played with, like the take care of me routine.
Yeah, I did like that. Take the duct out back and take care of him. Take care of him or take care of him? take care of him.
Oh, God, I don't know what's going to happen. I better not screw it up or else he'll take care of me.
Yeah.
And then even Selma, like, extending it and then just Fat Tony ending it, the one that's this. I thought that was a rare time where playing with the length worked.
Yeah, I think structurally I agree in the sense that it doesn't feel as purposeful moving from one to the next. We really lose focus of Selma being married quickly. You compare this to something like when she marries Troy McClure, and it goes from how they meet, how he's motivated by his career, Homer finds out about that, she finds out it's a sham marriage, he kind of proposes, let's keep this sham marriage up. Anyway, it's all still focused on their marriage.
Yeah.
And it's, how it's changing. Whereas this, once they kind of get to the beach house, it just kind of is about this parody of Jersey Shore, and then it just kind of wraps things up really quickly. So, which is a shame, because everything else was really... I think it's one of the ones where the jokes that typically don't work in the HD era actually quite worked here.
Yeah.
Where it was a little bit more, as we termed the phrase, whiteboard writing, where you basically write a theme on a whiteboard and then everything you can think about that. And so they just went, okay, mobsters at a summer house. What do you got, people?
Yeah.
But for this one, it actually quite worked. There was a quick little line of, I don't know about you, but I don't trust the new guy. And it cuts to a guy in his Speedos wearing a wire.
And he goes, let's brag about our crimes. And then just like leans into his chest.
It reminded me of something else, BT, actually. A question I want to ask you guys. Do you reckon in earlier seasons, Marge would have immediately told Selma that she was being cheated on?
They were kind of being shitty throughout the episode, so I thought it was justified.
Yeah, right.
Again, bring it back to the Troy McClure episode. I'm pretty sure she tells her right away after Homer finds out. So, yeah, I think so. There is a very awkward episode where Patty is about to marry a woman and Marge finds out it's actually a man in drag. And she holds off from telling us she's being weirdly spiteful. And it feels really strange for Marge.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whereas in this... Yeah, they're fighting, but she's also, by that point, she's kind of accepted the marriage a little bit more.
Yeah.
And no, I think it makes sense that she wouldn't waste any time to just say, hey, we overheard this and you need to know.
Okay. Yeah, I just would have figured that Marge, being this little sweetheart that she is, wouldn't want to, like, make waves and would feel that, like, should I tell her, shouldn't I? Would have a bit more of a personal difficulty in working out whether or not she should break up what obviously appears to be a reasonable, happy marriage.
Yeah.
For something like this. I don't know. It was just probably not like a huge thing that stuck out, but I just kind of spotted it.
Well, no, it brings up a good point that, by this point in the episode, they've wrapped up the Truffle Pig story, which they kind of like dropped. This was a weird sort of 4-act episode, but they kind of dropped early in Act 3.
Yeah, I think, because I'm pretty sure we go from Marge and Homer finding out to her telling Selma straight away. I was like, it's the next scene. I don't think there was a scene in between to let it breathe and imply that some part of time had gone past. Yeah, no matter how old you are, you still testy pop. Anyway, back down to my natural voice.
I'll pitch, correct it, I'll do the, like...
Just full auto-tune me. Yeah. So I'm like, welcome to the Simpsons.
I thought that Bonanza bit was weird.
Yeah. People already are so suspicious you're a robot.
Yeah, well, it's mostly because I keep telling them. I gotta stop doing it. I'm terrible at infiltration.
So how about the wackiness of this episode? Were there any particularly, like, weird cartoony moments that stuck out to you?
The old abandoned warehouse is labeled old abandoned warehouse. And it does say on the subtitle, I didn't catch it all, but it says home of the old abandoned something. So fish cannery, maybe? I don't know. I didn't see it. While we're on it, I do want to quickly just go through all the quick banter we got there, because this was the part where I couldn't even write down the notes quick enough. It was so good. Yeah. So Fat Tony's like, I don't know whether it would knock you on your kisser or kiss you on your knuckers. And like, nice. And then I miss Selma's follow-up.
And then she goes, I don't know whether to peck you on the kisser or kiss you on that, and then she gets cut off.
And I was like, nah. And then it's like, she's talking about getting liposuction, which, again, is a bit I like, because he's like, which part of you do you want me to cut off first? And she's like, get rid of the love handles and the bits on my arms and everything else. So liposuction is her idea. And then naturally Tony gets more attracted to her because she's, curvaceous now. Which, because that gives her the agency of it, it becomes much more interesting. Rather than him just, hey, I'm going to make you pretty first.
Well, that's a good point, the agency, because everyone in town backs down, and Selma's the only one who has the balls to stand up to him.
Yeah.
And that's what he's attracted to. And he's like, you know what? That is a good idea. Let's do this.
Yeah, and then we have the other bit where it's like, we got a doctor who owes me a favor. It's like, actually, we owe him a favor. Well, then do him 2 favors and remind him he owes us a favor.
Yeah, they really played with some funny mobster tropes here, which is good of any Fat Tony episode,
and it was
really.
This little maybe 4-minute sequence, just rapid fire, was great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, speaking of those mob tropes, reminds me of when they were being recorded by the FBI van. They do the little love heart around the two of them at the top of
the two of them
talking about
hear the proposal, and they kind of look at each other like, that was beautiful.
Talking about your Goodfellas angle. That's probably that's probably more of a Sopranos number, but kind of putting them right at the top.
Yeah, I'd actually like to know where they got the inspiration for the music cue from. Like, I don't know what that song's called. It's a very popular aria, though.
Are you an opera singer, BT?
I am now.
The other wacky moment I want to point out is the actual auction at the start of the episode. Now, this kicked off a little bit of like a Simpsons first act wackiness, but I didn't mind. Like I said, this was like a minute, if that, where Bart and Lisa and Homer are waiting in line. Bart sees the video arcade across the road, goes, can we wait in there instead? And he's like, that's a good idea. And then Homer goes.
Yeah, and he's playing, what is it? Nope, I fucked it up. It says Caterpillar. Caterpillar? Caterpillar, there we go.
That sounds like
my
a good
own
game.
Shitty goddamn handwriting. Yeah, he's playing Caterpillar and then just eating cake and like, I want cake now.
I mean, cake with one hand, get video games with the other. He's living the life.
He's doing well. Nice little thing, actually, as well. They get him a little gift bag. Says Millhouse on it.
I didn't notice that.
Good little steal, yeah.
Man, the sign writers in HD are doing a good job.
Yeah, I like how he comes back and they're like, Bart and Lisa are like, no, we waited in line to get to the front, so we're going to auction it off. And then get a quick little back and forth with Wiggum, who's like, I'll give you half a cheesesteak, a quarter of a cheesesteak, the wrapper of a cheesesteak.
I thought, the whole auction scene was really funny and a great way to show Fat Tony's power and then conversely, Selma's power over him. So what about the heart of the episode? Did you guys feel the bumps?
I'm going to say not really.
Oh, in an episode with a wedding?
Yeah, surprisingly. I felt nothing.
Yeah, not much heart, I don't think. It was...
They kind of retconned the wedding as well, so it's hard to feel too...
It was all pretty quick. It just kind of sped fast. You couldn't really make much sense of it. The only real heartfelt moment was probably when he gives truffle to a pig.
Yeah, well, that was beautiful.
That was gorgeous, yeah.
But I mean, for Selma, the pig that she is...
Whoa, come on now.
Yeah, right in, Selma fans. You'll get nothing.
I think just asking for a request for Selma fans to write in, you'll get nothing.
Yeah. How's that going to change my life?
Sorry.
Yeah. So again, back to Troy McClure one, you have that really nice scene where they bond over smoking. I guess in this you get a quick little montage of Selma and Fat Tony dating. You don't really get a lot of heart out of that, though. Like, you don't feel like Selma's actually feels like she's found someone or anything like that. It's just, it's kind of a funny bit. I do like they're having a candlelit dinner, they leave, and the mob guys just come in and just torch everything with the candles. The bit with the lobsters and Tony just shoots them all was a bit odd, but I didn't mind because I was still laughing from the previous scene.
Yeah. But I think they sell the moment with the whole wiping the gun and putting it down by the floor.
Yeah, a little bit more.
You got to separate your work and your home life, though, Fat Tony.
Yeah, but he was all... They were about to boil them alive. You don't have to shoot them.
I think the heart of all of those scenes was probably undercut by a lot of visual gags.
Yeah.
Particularly the bit where he actually proposes to Selma, and you've got old mate.
Frankie the Squealer.
Frankie the Squealer being dipped in the water at the back there. You know. Like, it's funny, but you're not going to get much heart.
Yeah,
out
we
of it
didn't get the feeling out of it.
Exactly.
Unlike,
kind of worth it to hear an underwater "aw."
That was pretty funny.
So typical HD Simpsons, like they didn't execute the heart as well in the old days, but I thought it was sort of functional rather than, I don't know, like a fantastic example of it.
But there's your prime example of why it doesn't work, because the love is not a functional thing.
Even a robot like you knows that.
I've been programmed with Hallmark cards.
No, but I think you're right. It felt more like the framework to hang jokes on, as opposed to any sort
Which,
of story.
as far as an episode goes, is not a bad way to go about it.
God, no.
But it will not get the thumps.
Fair enough. But yes or no, would you watch this episode again?
Yeah, I reckon so. I got some good laughs out of that. I just, again, for that one little bit in the warehouse, a rapid back and forth, I would definitely watch it.
Definitely. That's an absolute YouTube highlight right there.
Mm-hmm.
If it's on, I'm happy to watch it. Not going to seek it out, but if it comes my way.
Definitely. I mean, I might even put it on as well, but if I'm going to put it on. Maybe I'll put it in a Simpsons playlist. So what are some of the episodes that sort of share some elements thematically with this episode?
The obvious ones are Mob and Selma marrying.
Yep. And Fat Tony appearances and occurrences of Spider Pig if you want to make that list, but then you have to watch the Simpsons movie.
Even when Bart and Skinner become friends, go to the restaurant.
Yeah.
Luigi, five boys. The man is here with a little kid.
No, you're just scum compared to Krusty.
Yeah, great Luigi moments.
I do think peak Luigi for me is no, I don't speak Italian. I only speak the broken English. Like, damn it.
Luigi in the new era, they often, hang too many bad jokes on. And even though he was in it for a minute and a half and it was kind of baffling, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Luigi greatest hits.
Yeah. So, there's some good playlists and reality TV parodies. I guess you could make a list out of that. But BT, what would you change about this episode?
I would have a little heart moment in there between Tony and Selma, just to sell the relationship a bit, and I would kind of do something a little bit different with the Bart-Lisa storyline. There is that bit where he gets knocked out and Lisa, from nowhere, attaches a leash and harness, so all he can do is smell. I was like,
that was absolutely
bizarre.
That's
a good
point.
That?
Or she found it in the woods and that's extra worse.
That's significantly creepier. It's just, I get that was in the focus and that moved the story. I was just a bit of a moment of, what? Trouble is, they're also pressed for time, so I'm sure there's little bits you could cut as well. They kind of extended Homer drawing scene. There were a couple of beach house parts that didn't work terribly well.
Yeah.
There were cuts being made to pad out better sections.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Not a complete pull-down rebuild, but there's work to be done there.
And Daniel, what would you change about the episode?
I think I said earlier, it could have gone for a few minutes longer.
Yeah.
I would, honestly, you're talking about cutting stuff. I'm saying, make it longer. Why not? Yeah, jam more in there.
Cut to free up more time.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just felt very abrupt the way it ended after they kind of chugged along at a pretty reasonable pace and then just bang, there it goes.
Yeah, it was a quick reset to zero, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with the kind of introduction of that wife and everything like that, but they just kind of had to say, like you said, they retconned the wedding. Like, oh yeah, by the way, that didn't happen. You know,
it's an old.
Yeah, that was a bit like, when they really could have kind of extended that segment there, and they even had Selma kind of going back to a normal life, just kind of like establish her back to normal. Sort of thing, because it just could have been more fun to kind of explore that, the wife kind of coming in and
the episode ends, they're still fighting, so we see Selma again, we never see the wife again, we have to assume she killed her. And because she gained the weight, ate her. What other conclusion are we supposed to come to?
That's the logical one for sure.
It's the Occam's razor of this situation.
But yeah, as for what I'd change about it, I think you bring up a good point. I wonder what this episode would have been like if it didn't have the B story in it, if they focused solely on this Fat Tony Selma thing. And maybe even given a bit more scenes with her and Marge fighting and, showing Selma's pride in her husband and Marge like, oh my God, haven't you learnt, girl? Yeah,
true. In heart moments, that was where I got the closest to feeling a human emotion, was when Marge and Selma are fighting. It's like, what the hell? Why are you being a bitch for?
Yeah. And as for putting emotional stakes in the episode, I liked how the wedding scene functioned like that. With them being sitting down with the rejects of comic book guy and...
I bought a ping pong table off Craigslist.
Consider yourself slated.
Yep.
And even the photo walkout scene where they do the photo of them at Krusty Burger. Wow, that photographer was really good.
Like you got a little bit George Takei there.
My Fat Tony impression is a George Takei.
Well, that's also a good point, though, that it just... Like, they established that with the wedding, and they're like, oh, yeah, I didn't want to sit you around because your husband's a pig.
Yeah, and I thought, okay, that makes a bit of sense.
But then they just kind of finish that up pretty quickly. If it didn't have that B plot, you might have been able to explore that a bit more, and then...
Yeah, and then have Marge be, look, I know he's not perfect, but you've been married 6 times now, and we've been supportive every single time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know, there's good conflict to be had there.
Even though there's more than enough reason to think Homer's going to ruin something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually very surprised we didn't go to a smash cut of him doing something embarrassing.
Exactly.
I'm kind of glad we didn't, because,
Yeah, I just, as soon as that happens, I'm just thinking local man ruins everything. Yeah. Straight away.
That donkey brings out the worst in you. Guest stars of the episode, only Joe Mantegna, who played Fat Tony, who's just fucking awesome at this job.
Great,
And musical moments, the aforementioned Italian aria, and at one point, Tony, Selma, Homer, and Marge are singing Quando, Quando, Quando in the spa.
As you do.
Before Selma let the boys out.
Or should they be girls? For me, they're boys.
A weird joke that I really liked. BT, do you have any other notes?
I do like when Bart and Lisa sell their spot for Lollipop, and they're walking through the woods going, my lick. So that seems like a very sibling thing to do, and then freaking out when one of them gets the wrong side.
Yep. And it was good because it made them not forget the first scene.
That kind of was a lead on from that.
Definitely.
There's that weird bit where Homer has this long extended bit where he's like, what are you going to do? Kill me and cut off my head and put it in this manger scene? And then an old Italian nun finds it. She's like, oh, why? He too beautiful. It's like, wow, this is still going on. And there were a couple of jokes like that. It's like, you could have just left that out and put the time somewhere else. So that's, that comes back to my main critique of it all. Yeah, and just ending on the bonanza is my last one.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. They just had a map of New Jersey and they're like, burn it. Maybe they just wanted to burn New Jersey down to the ground, which ultimately...
The censors won't let us get away with this unless we're doing a bonanza reference.
I suppose, but...
Daniel, did you have any other notes?
I didn't take any. So.
Yeah.
But
anything else about the episode you want to mention?
One thing we didn't note, actually thinking, going back on that very cartoony thing, when Selma gets her mani-pedi spray tan.
That's kind of a classic.
That was a bit weird. You hear a bit of like jackhammering in the background. And,
bit of a drill. And,
good old sound effects, off-screen humor.
Yeah, stuff like that. And every light in this house is a tanning light.
That was a good joke.
There was a little giggle. I got a little giggle out of that.
Oh, can you read by it? No one's ever tried. I just wrote down, take that, Jersey Shore.
Totally. That was a clever burn.
Yeah, there was a couple little gags there. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's pretty amusing.
All right, now it's time for Elliot's Quickfire Notes.
Bonanza.
Banana runts, they're the worst runts. I couldn't agree more. But you know what's weird? The stuff that makes fake banana flavor in candy is also the same chemical that makes fireworks purple.
Awesome.
So you're telling me I should eat fireworks?
Yes.
Or banana runts. And then set yourself on fire.
And watch you pop.
I'm way ahead of you.
Quick fire. Selma continuing to smoke inside the bag thing.
That was pretty good.
Oh, you enjoyed that?
Yeah, especially because she laughed about it. It's like, I can still smoke.
Okay, I fall on the other side of that joke, but you kind of sold me on that. I did laugh. Only you could make tree poop boring. That was a classic immature Bart line that I really liked. Bart's little Rocket Island fantasy, I actually kind of enjoyed.
Yes. I love a good fantasy with Bart ruining
it was,
school.
It was very reminiscent of the giant killer ants.
Yep, that's was my thought exactly.
Or the butterfly.
Yeah.
No one ever suspects the butterfly.
Why did I write down baby normal head?
Oh, yeah, really bad joke where Bart's like, when we go home, it's like, no, you need to get 3 more truffles the size of a baby's head. All right, that baby's head.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, cuts to Cletus, and he's all, that tick really ruined you, baby normal head.
Screw you both. That was good. I liked
you
that
liked that one?
It was dumb, and it was definitely slamming people who don't deserve it. It was just stupid enough for work for me.
Yeah, I think it might just be me being burnt out on Cletus references these days, but sometimes you see him come up and it's like, oh no, what now?
Yeah, right.
But okay, I kind of pay it, you know.
Yeah, because usually they cut to him and he's like, well, my sister is my mother. And and you're like, yeah, fucking hilarious.
And actually, lately they've been doing him having like a lot of meth jokes.
Yeah. It's like they burned out all the incest jokes and like, what else do hillbillies do? Meth.
Bunch of meth, yeah.
Quick fire. During the wedding, they reminded us, oh yeah, Selma's got an adopted kid. Have you seen that episode?
Yeah. Oh no, I have seen that episode when they adopted a little Chinese kid.
Yeah.
That actually did happen, didn't it?
Yeah.
She was just watching the wedding. I just like focused on her just quickly to make sure, that's right, she's here. We didn't forget
she
about
did something
her.
with her hands, but I can't remember what it was. I thought it was...
Oh, maybe she was doing Italian hands.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Something stupid like that.
And the last joke I want to mention, and I fucking loved this joke, which was Fat Tony, Homer, can I interest you in a pool noodle? Or maybe a pool ziti? Or a pool fusilli? Or my mother, she will make you any type of pool noodle you like. I did just pressing the foam in the, you guys aren't sold on that joke, are you?
It just, it was so close. That's kind of the heartbreaking thing. It could have worked for me, but I suppose cutting to Mama, who's then like, there's no noodle big enough for this fat man, was like, I could have just cut to her using like the noodle press to push out pool noodles and then finish it.
Okay.
I guess it was just that extra bite. I
Or
just didn't
Homer
need.
demanding like a pool violi or something like that.
Yeah.
A pool lasagna. All right, guys, I'm out of notes. It's time to rank this thing.
All right.
On the Simpsons Index, we rank using our 6-point scale, which starts down the bottom at failure. But maybe if the episode was just meh, you give it participant. But for the good rankings, you got good, bronze, great, silver, excellent, gold. But for the best of the very best, that is so good like Mama used to make, you give those episodes cubic zirconia. The look of disappointment in the room is...
So they can hear it. They can hear disappointment.
They heard my deep intake of breath.
Yeah. You know what this is, Elliot? It's dignity. You wouldn't know what it's like.
So I'm going to go first. Let me show you how it's done. I'm actually going to give this episode a silver. I'm surprised. I know that the story is a bit of a mess and the pacing is awkward. The pig truffle story ends too soon. But I got a lot of genuine laughs about this, and I'm already kind of keen to watch it again. BT, what do you reckon?
Halfway through the episode, I was sitting on a silver. I'm just trying to feel like if it stayed there. I think a lot of the jokes I'm not going to laugh at a second time, except for that one bit I do keep mentioning. So I'm just trying to feel like if I've gone all the way down to a bronze. I think it's just the shame of a good premise somewhat squandered is what's going to pull it down to a bronze for me, in that there were better places to go, and the fact they didn't really bothers me. But a lot of the episode is quite solid, and for about the first half, yeah, really good. Just second half didn't quite live up to its lead-in, so that's a bronze.
No worries. And Daniel, finish this off. What would you like to rank it?
Interesting. I'm trying to work out the ranking scale. I'm liking it. Okay. Look, ultimately, I felt it was always going to be just a bunch of jokes slammed at you very quickly.
Yeah.
I think obviously you guys have probably seen a lot more of this sort of era and are willing to judge it by that ranking. But ultimately, look, the structure wasn't really doing it for me. I felt like a lot of the jokes were barely contextualized, and then by the end of it, I was just kind of left like, what just happened sort of thing. So was it a participation, was it?
So, like, our sort of scale works. Failure is just awful episodes. Participant are like your boring episodes that you wouldn't watch again. But bronze is like, yeah, okay, I'd watch that one
Let's give
again.
it a bronze then. All right, I'll tell you what, I'll give it that
The general rule to go by is if you'd watch it again, it should probably get some kind of medal ranking.
And I did say I'd watch it again, didn't I?
So I think that's fair.
I've sold myself down the river. It's a bronze then. It's a bronze from me.
I will say it depends on what context you would watch it again. As in, we also have the hangover test, where if it's on and you're comfy and you have a drink and a burger and you don't want to move, would you leave it on? That's different to, would you maybe go, oh, hey, this one's on, and I intentionally sit down and watch it.
Sure, it's definitely the hangover test. It's like,
so
I'm not standing up here. Yeah, I'm not going to stand up or I'm going to spew on the television.
I would say that's slightly different to you would watch it again. It just has to be the right context.
Yeah.
So if you want to get on a participant for that,
that's it. It's a muddy bronze.
Muddy bronze.
A dirty bronze.
Yep. All right, well, this will average out into a shiny bronze, and this will be joining other episodes such as Simpson Tide, where Homer joins the Navy, Natural Born Kisses, where Homer and Marge start getting it on in public, Simpsons Go to Japan episode, The Book Job with Neil Gaiman, the one where Maude dies. Yeah, you know, I think that's well placed right there.
Mm-hmm.
This ranked the same as the one where Homer joins the Navy?
Yeah.
This is...
I wasn't there for the Navy episode, and I maintain it deserves a higher rank.
I'm leaving this beautiful soundproof room immediately.
No, I defend it. It's surprisingly not that good.
I haven't seen it for a very long time.
It bottoms out in the third act.
But it's my first day. Quack, quack, quack.
Brilliant, yeah.
That's why it got a silver, but it also got 3 bronzes.
Yeah.
All right, and for the final segment, is that reputation justified? Eric Hornberger of TV Line gave this 2.5 out of 5 stars and gave much criticism to the main plot of this episode.
Yeah, it's not unjustified.
AV Club reacted very negatively and gave it a C rating. So
they love everything.
Yeah.
I know.
Actually,
and then they hate this.
You know what? They're a bunch of Jersey Shore lovers, I'm sure. Like, you can't say that about the situation.
Oh.
This sounds like a few bronzes so far, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, C on theirs is like the bottom ranking.
Yeah. It's just above their D, when D is their failure. So
Yeah,
righto. Okay.
So, like, on their scale, it'd be like a participant. But
sure.
All right, so that does it for the HD era. Now we're going to the teens era, where we're going to see season 16's A Star Is Torn.
Well, so like not too long ago, we saw A Star Is Born again.
Yeah, confusing,
They
isn't
love
it?
their
I
Judy
like-
Garlands, huh?
I just like,
Yeah.
sometimes they lock into one phrase and use it over and over. Like, take my wife, please, has like 6 different variations.
And this is the Star Is Born variation part 2 special.
God damn.
We'll be back with The Star Is Born. And we are back, and we just watched our Teen Terror episode for the evening, which was Season 16, Episode 18, A Star Is Torn. It was first released back in May of '05, and it was written by Carolyn Omine, or Omini. I'm not sure.
You're having trouble with the surnames tonight.
Then they haven't been great, have they?
Yeah, well.
I blame them.
Yep.
And in this episode, Lisa goes out for a not affiliated with American Idol style show, and she
Yep.
actually does very well with Homer at her side as her composer. And there's some story betrayal, I don't know. Guys, what'd you think?
I'm going to say this was quite the roller coaster, though. Like, as in, we went from like terribly bad back to being okay, back to terribly bad, back to being pretty good, back to being terribly bad. So, long story short, I now have whiplash, and you'll be hearing from my lawyer, which is, and incidentally, sounds a lot like me doing a British accent, but I guarantee you it is an actual lawyer.
Look at his suit.
Yeah.
Look at that suit.
Yeah, Daniel, what do you think?
I kind of worked out what my issues were with the first episode after watching that episode.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think, yeah, which is kind of interesting. When I was saying like it didn't feel like an episode of The Simpsons structurally,
Yeah.
and then I watched this one, I'm like, oh, okay. The complication was mostly missing from that first episode
Yeah.
when Homer gets fired as Lisa's manager. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's what happened. There was no real tension to it. There's no real family tension that kind of made up with it. So ultimately, I don't know. I like the structure of that episode. I like that they had that family tension. And honestly, I really love a Homer Lisa episode.
Yeah.
I always reckon it's super heartfelt, and it's probably one of the more challenging relationships in the whole series. So it's always fascinating to watch Homer try and like vie for the love of this girl who he has no idea how to
Hey.
relate to her, you know?
One of our, I think, our favorite episodes of this has been Lisa Gets a Pony.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's- well, I didn't really realize how good it was until watching it with that critical lens. And it's like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, the Homer Lisa dynamic is an interesting one because he is this sort of idiot. Well, here he's like an idiot savant, genius composer as well.
Well, he's got the history of composing. So.
That's true. He has this weird.
Baby on board, man.
Yeah. Since when could you write a song?
That's a good point. It does have a basis in truth, doesn't it? That Homer has this
Yeah.
weird knack for writing songs.
He is a very adept musician. We see him play piano all the
Yeah,
time.
He
was-
wrote Everybody in the USA
USA,
hates their stupid neighbor.
yeah, and he was also a bass player in a pretty popular rock band at one point.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, he's done quite well for himself as a musician. But yeah, Lisa stepping in and doing the whole American Idol thing. Yeah, what'd you guys think of that?
My main point is she wins, so she's going to be on Itchy and Scratchy now.
That's exactly
Does
what I was
she
thinking.
win?
I mean, she clearly she made the applause-o-meter cry.
Yeah, she nailed Johnny Rainbow.
Whereas Johnny
Oh, that's
Rainbow
true.
made everyone throw fruit at him. So
Yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking as well. I was like, I've written here, did Lisa win something? Is she famous now? Like,
yeah,
what's
it
the
was
deal?
a bit
Yeah.
weird. Springfield famous at least.
Could have been interesting to see it end with some sort of like useless Itchy and Scratchy cartoon or
Yeah,
something.
at least have that as the tag rather than jazz hands maybe.
Yeah, though I did
Yeah.
like the jazz hands.
Although just while we're on that, Lisa's dream of what her on an Itchy and Scratchy episode is like, it's brutal.
yeah. She had it in mind, ready to
Oh,
go,
yeah.
didn't she?
She was prepped and ready. And there she has this whole, actually, violence against animals is terrible, but I've also decapitated both of them. Now I'm throwing both their heads in acid. It's like, wow.
She said leave it for the cartoons.
Yes, I'm just saying, maybe
Great
this is her
stuff.
outlet. And
Yeah.
if so, she needs that outlet. God.
Definitely. Yeah, you do bring up a good point that there was no peak on this episode in the story that was built. This is a competition, and like
Yeah.
if they didn't have a moment where she won, then that would have sold Homer and Lisa's sort of rebonding in this episode more as well. Yeah, I don't know. That kind of bugs me now that you mention it.
Yeah, there are some structural problems in this one, which is a shame because it's got a really good setup. But I think bringing Homer Lisa dynamic, is a great thing. We haven't. It's one of the few ones that isn't played out terribly.
Well, yeah, BT, what is a moment from the story that stood out to you?
I will say the one I originally flagged as being my okay. I'm going to talk about this moment is when they're doing auditions and there's some kid we've never seen before takes the stage.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, so you're going to be really good and you're going to be the rival, and you're the special guest voice or something.
Yeah,
and,
but then they
that
drop her.
Didn't happen, which was weird. Then we go for Johnny Rainbow, whatever
Really
his name
bizarre,
is,
wasn't
Cameron.
it?
Yeah, it was odd. It was like, I mean, on the one hand, I'm glad we didn't hang on this one character we've never met because I immediately rolled my eyes as soon as I saw them. But at the same point, to have that established and then not use it.
What I'm wondering is if they ask this singer to jump in as a voice actress and go, yeah, okay, she's got a great singing voice, blah, 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 and then realize later on she can't act.
Yeah,
it's possible because the guest actor for that was Fantasia Barrino, who was like American Idol season 3 winner or something.
Fantasia Burrito.
Barrino.
I don't care.
You heard the man.
Are you just ordering now?
Yep. I'll have a Fantasia Burrito.
That actually sounds pretty delicious.
And one Curtis Cutsack.
Fantasia Burrito sounds like you'd watch a Philip Glass movie after eating it. Yeah, so it is weird that they pivoted, but I like your theory about that she couldn't act because, yeah, she was an American Idol winner. Not to disparage all the good American Idol winners. All of them.
Talking to you, that one girl.
Clay Aitken.
Yeah, so it's a weird thing for them to set up, then to move away from. But Daniel, what's a moment from the story that stood out to you?
I spoke about the structure there, that I couldn't work out what the issue was, and it was only because later on I saw that. But maybe at the end there, when they just kind of hang shit on like an 8-year-old. Like, and then that's just the great moment, like the pivotal moment of this story. I'm like, wow, that was pretty rough. It's kind of harsh, isn't it?
But that's what these shows do, I guess. I don't know. Not being reality TV watchers.
True. But that kind of brings me back as well to what I was also thinking, that I thought a lot of the American Idol criticism and satire was quite weak.
Yep.
Yeah.
While I think the better stuff was the stage dad stuff and the stage parent stuff. I thought that was quite interesting. I thought they played that off pretty well. But just a lot of the American Idol stuff seemed very like on the nose and really kind of forcing the issue and forcing the joke down your throat. Whereas they could have done so much better, I think, if they would just kind of pulled it back a bit.
Yeah, and focus on the stage dad thing.
Yeah, exactly.
A big problem I do have is that Lisa only sees Homer flip out about red vines versus Twizzlers, which for starters, is this a thing, America? Because I've seen this in multiple sitcoms.
Yep, in Parks and Rec, Leslie Knope is a red vines and Ben Wyatt is a Twizzlers.
Family.
That's right.
Get over it.
Yeah, I don't know. Is this something TV is playing up, or is this like a Bloods Crips kind of thing?
I think they're both garbage red licorice crap.
And I'll have either.
Well, way to piss off both sides, Elliot. But the fact that Lisa only really sees...
That's the secret ingredient in a Fantasia burrito. Sorry, go on.
Oh, God, it sounds terrible. I want one. Yeah, the fact that Lisa only really sees this one freak out and then is immediately like, you're fired, Dad. And then later on, there's no real reason. She kind of misses him, but there's no reason she can't just say, I'm really sorry. If you could be less overbearing, please come back. That'd be fine. And then my biggest problem with this episode is, in the end, he sabotages Cameron for her, and she's like, oh, thank you. He's like, that was the problem. That's why you fired him, because he was being a dick to people.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say thank you for doing that thing I hated you for. That makes no sense.
Well, that's kind of the problem. The episode becomes about so many things at this point.
Yeah.
When I said at the top, and there's some sort of conflict, because it just rolls through the conflict so quickly.
Yeah, nothing has weight.
Yeah, you're being bad this once. Now I'm mad at you. Oh, now I'm kind of remorseful. Here's some cookies. Now I'm mad at you. Now I'm with the other kid. Like, it just didn't slow down and just live in any of these moments. And I got to say, the moment from the story that stood out most to me was the beginning. It was this typical irrelevant first act thing, but I thought like it was okay-ish way to get them into Lisa trying out for a vocal contest, but also not really.
It was a bit bizarre, wasn't it? It was like a very...
I was very confused where they get sick and then the next day they're all better and then they're watching TV and I'm like, wait, are we done with this being sick part? And then it's because... That's how they find out Lisa's good at singing, because she sings them all to sleep. Like, okay. I will say I just hated everything with Cletus. It was this...
Yep.
I audibly heard you groan.
Yeah.
You went,
Well, because it starts off pretty well. You know, the Cookie Mart's getting robbed and Homer's
Stage
like...
whisper.
And Apu's like, call 911. He's like, okay, can I get change? No, change without purchase. Does that back and forth, and then when he finds
$5.99.
Yeah, he does like the shocked outrage whispering. I got a laugh out of that.
Yeah.
But then Marge just goes, oh, I wanted to avoid the 3 p.m. robbing. Oh, well, let's look at this.
So dumb.
Cletus's little vegetable farm in the middle of the car park, and all his stuff.
I did like the sign gag, though.
What was the sign? I missed it.
It was just organic vittles.
I may have been rolling my eyes so hard they were bleeding a little bit. Because, then he's like, I'm going to get your vegetables and put them in this burlap sack. Cletus, you can't do that. That's the baby carriage. Like, oh, fucking just...
I'm going to take them in the stroller.
It's a wheelbarrow. We're hillbillies.
Just cheap, man. And there's so much fodder for attacking hillbillies. You don't have to go for the cheap stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's like just they're already hillbillies.
It's real low-hanging organic fiddles. But yeah, the whole Lisa singing to them to make them feel better. I guess the start does have the same thing as the end, where it's just rushing through these plot points. Now they can't get meat. Now they're eating vegetables only. Now they're sick. Now that, I guess that's what sticks out to the story at me.
Sorry, and that terrible bit where Homer eats some dried toast, he goes, it's staying down. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yes, it's staying. I was like, oh,
too long.
But then it is followed up when he goes to sleep. He's like, oh, my bucket.
Yeah, the bucket bit was great. When he hugs it.
But it's just the fact that it went on for 30 seconds of him going, oh, it's staying down. Oh, no, it's not. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it reminded me of a Futurama joke, actually.
Yeah?
What does he say? I've got an idea. No, wait. No. Yes. No. Yes. But it definitely went on way too long. No, I think I was speaking about brevity in the line. Talking about the last episode, and it was just dragging on for no real reason, and it felt like they had an idea for a joke, and then just didn't workshop it almost, and just said yeah, that's good, just say that.
Yeah. Well, Spent, you know what, we've had you say it's staying down twice. I'm not starting to laugh. Try it 6 more times and then we'll probably go out the other end of unfunny and back to funny.
That's it feels more like studio improv rather than a written line, which there's a place for improv in scripted shows, I think, but not this one. Not dedicating 30 seconds to no. Play count. How many times before tonight have you seen this episode?
Not once, not twice, but nonce.
Oh, this is the first time.
First time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's quite interesting. I've probably seen it, I have to say 3 or 4 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen this one. Not that many, especially for me. Probably 5. I seem to remember Foxtel in this episode, so I don't know, 2005.
Popped up a lot, yeah.
Yeah, probably still living at my mother's, bludging off her Foxtel.
Yeah. See, I was out on
Good
my
lady.
own and being no, was it? I was at home without Foxtel, so la-di-da to your life.
Just that free-to-air Simpsons.
Just all we could get for free,
Yep.
Just the old TV, black and white, bunny ears.
That grainy SBS feed.
Had to strap a, possum to the aerial so it worked properly.
That's how TV should be. But ultimately, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
I'm going to say no, mostly from structural, but then, we've kind of gone back and forth between these we've kind of had similar ones. Like, think of Daddy-Daughter Day, where basically the opposite is happening. Lisa's helping Homer win, and then she finds out about it, and that's the conflict that pushes the third act. Whereas in this, for a while, I thought, okay, it's going to be Homer starts getting annoyed that he's the one writing songs that's winning, and then he's not getting appreciated. But then it's him being overbearing, and then it's him working with this other kid, and it just it doesn't keep any kind of focus. I think you said it in so many things happen that it feels like nothing happens.
Yeah. And the characters behaving like themselves. I mean, Lisa's musical, Homer's musical.
Yeah, but Lisa's never been vocal musical.
It's true.
There was no sax anywhere.
Good point. No sax rocked up for such a musical episode.
Yeah, I think she could have a song where she threw one. I don't know.
Exactly. You would have thought she'd just bring it in,
I mean, I appreciate that's how she can read sheet music when Homer hands it to her. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that actually does make me wonder in that song where it's all about Springfield and everything, and the end where nobody sucks except for Flanders. I wanted to see how that was notated, just this weird arrangement of music beats just really off. Yeah, it's a sort of a weird thing where the characters didn't do anything offensively bad that made you think, oh, that's not what Lisa or Homer would do.
Yeah, nothing terribly off-brand, but just...
But yeah, the show itself?
Yeah, it's just a little muddy, and I suppose my problem with it.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, they tread mud and somehow they feel like they're going through a million places. But what about some of the wacky moments of the episode?
Look, there was some good... I thought there was some good little wacky gags. One of my favorite Marge lines actually was I don't think either of you guys batted an eyelid, but I liked talking about God. Our prayers pay His salary. I like that. I thought that was pretty funny.
It's a very cute Marge line.
It was very Marge, you know, and I love it.
I think I got stuck on, but where does God spend His prayers?
They're redeemable for $1 in the Heaven gift shop.
Big Time Zone fan, yeah.
Yeah. That's it. He's saving up for one of those like mini little basketball sets you attach to your door.
Big fan of skee ball, as we know.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Kevin Smith.
And talking about other wacky moments, I have to think my MVP was probably Lenny. Yeah, Lenny had some cracking lines in that.
Yeah, just like, random rapid cuts
that's
to him.
me. You know, like I miss Lisa's cat so much.
I will say, yeah, those were some really funny Letty moments. It's just, it was a shame the whole Millhouse thing. Are you the man or the woman? That just felt really out of place.
Gross, wasn't it?
But yeah, I agree. MVP goes to Lenny for the other ones.
Let's also give a shout out to Paul Simon. That spinning headline of 10-year-old booted from contest for actually being Paul Simon. He would have won too easy. Yep.
I had to throw him out the back, Jack.
Yep. I will say, I think some of the wackiest stuff just comes up in dialogue. So it's like,
Yep.
In that Cameron's smile, he brought a puppy back to life. And I missed the end of it, but this song will make Moon River sound like monkey farts or something.
It's orangutan
A farting orangutan.
That's it.
Take that, Moon River.
Yeah, and in that moment, I was like, oh, yeah, I bet it will. Like, what schmaltzy crap are they going to go? And I'm like, oh, okay, going with the snowball angle. Okay, not bad. Because I will say, like, I may as well skip ahead to the musical moments of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
The songs themselves were pretty uninspiring, unmemorable. They were sort of like melodically pretty generic.
I think Yardley's range as Lisa is going to be the challenge there.
Yeah, we saw how bad it can get when she's pushed, like in the Gaga episode.
Yeah, and it's...
Have you heard of that one?
I've heard of it. Never sorted out.
Yeah, currently ranked, I think, as worst episode we've done. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
So...
All right, we're talking complete fail, are we?
Hard fail.
Across the board.
No question. It was just so much rage in that podcast. Check it out. It's like episode 27 or something.
You got it.
I will say it's worth checking out just to know how bad is.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to have a idea of where the
general
bottom...
ranking, right. Scope of this thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, so like even the Springfield Rules song, whatever you want to call it, it was saved by its lyrics. Its actual music was pretty blare.
Yeah. I think Homer, he walks in and says, I plagiarized most of the tune, go, go, go. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think, they almost explained it away with a pretty reasonable joke, I thought, that it was always going to be.
A very funny answer to the question, how did you compose this so fast?
Yeah, you go write a song in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Other songs. What was Lisa's final song?
Her singing about Homer, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'll always be your daughter.
Yeah.
I got some thumps there.
Yeah, there was a bit of
sweet,
heart moment going on. And yeah, conversely, I thought the Privilege song was actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
We believed in you, Johnny Rainbow.
That's right. And yeah, I tip the maitre d', I always get the best table. I'm a privileged boy. I'm better than you. Like, yeah, pretty toe-tapping little number of privilege.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting to the heart of this episode, where did you guys feel the bumps? In your heart?
I like, I think like you said towards the end there when they have that song that where Lisa reconnects with Homer, and that was quite sweet. Also, the whole way through, you could definitely see that Homer's acting in Lisa's best interests, I think, or thinking he is anyway. So the whole time, I mean, it really plays off that like awkward relationship the two have got, which I really get into. So I think I was kind of following it quite closely. That sort of the real heart and center of the episode, even if it wasn't so like pronounced and wasn't so like full on. Yeah, that like the other episodes, I think, like you mentioned with Lisa's pony, that it's really at the forefront. I still got into it, and I still felt it along with the two of them, even though when you're talking like Lisa makes the cookies for him and he eats them and walks off and gets cranky and stuff like that, I still kind of felt like, oh yeah, he's quite hurt and disheartened by Lisa. So yeah, I was following it pretty much the whole way through and getting that vibe.
Yeah, it's just a shame that the material wasn't better. And like in that cookie scene as well, it felt like though he was just doing another improv bit. Oh, I am so happy. Now I'm full. And like, I don't know, it just wasn't worth that journey for me. But I do get what you're saying, like, because the integrity of the characters wasn't in question. We all sort of believed everything they did, even though maybe Homer pushed it a bit too far with threatening the squeaky voiced teen a bit.
But that's the thing, they had to put all his overbearingness into one scene because Lisa hadn't seen any before.
That was a bizarre scene, actually.
Yeah,
not only that, but they kind of explained the story to each other to kind of get it forward.
Yeah.
They were all kind of like, you're acting like this. And I'm like, why am I acting like this? Da-da-da. So they just, otherwise they were acting pretty naturally throughout the rest of the episode, but it was a 2-minute rapid fire burst where they had to push it forward.
I think what I would prefer to see is have Homer start being overpowering in terms of how he wants to cut everything together, because his songs are finally getting recognition after years after the B Sharps.
Yeah, writer's pride.
Sure.
Yeah, and so he's having a lot of writer's pride, and at least is essentially a tool to him at this point to get those songs heard. And he's like, no, this is how you win. And she's like, I don't want to win. I'm here to, have fun and enjoy myself.
Yeah.
And that's where your conflict comes and their disagreement of how they want to do things, and that's why they separate. And then he has that moment of, I don't think I really enjoyed winning as much as I enjoyed winning with my daughter. And then if she doesn't care about winning, then I shouldn't, because, it's about us being together.
So base it more in the character and his past experiences.
And also it's your classic, you're nothing without my songs. Your songs are nothing without my performance. You know, it's a classic bit.
Yeah, no, but I think that's why I'd rather keep it on. She's just there to enjoy herself, have fun and see how far she can get. And he gets really focused on winning. I think just that consistency of what the main conflict is something I really would have enjoyed a lot more. Because I really got annoyed towards the end where you have the big heart song, but then gets undercut by Homer sabotaging someone else, and that was the damn problem.
Yeah. And there was never a winning moment either.
Yeah.
It was just...
Could have been interesting to see Lisa lose.
Yeah.
even at the back of that. Everyone's kind of like, and the producers like this song all of a sudden because we're going to sell this, So,
it's like, how much money we can make off this hate track?
Exactly. Yeah, people are getting into it.
Yeah, they're downloading it just to delete it again. No, they're downloading it just to take videos of them deleting it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But yes or no, would you watch this episode again?
I do not think so. I just feel like there's nothing for me to come back to.
Yeah?
Again, the hangover test that we're talking about, I'd say I'd watch that more than I would watch that last episode we watched.
Right.
I liked a lot of the stage parent stuff. I thought that was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty incisive in a lot of ways. But
no, definitely. I think there is room for this in the hangover test, but it's definitely a kind of snooze through it.
Sure.
Maybe, flipping through the phone sort of episode.
Yes.
Yeah. I need to take a nap on a plane. Hey, this one's on.
But, maybe watch it again. What playlist does it belong in?
Yeah, Lisa Homer, Lisa Contest.
Homer's musical ability.
Yeah, crops up every now and then.
Yep.
Just Simpsons musicals, almost,
Yeah, Simpsons original
Apu
music.
robberies.
Yeah.
Just to get a very interesting playlist together.
Krusty selling himself.
Yeah.
That's another one. 27 seasons, I remember nothing. Reminds me of me, actually.
Yeah, I'm going...
watching this stuff. Yeah.
Going in to record 27 years of audio commentaries, and I remember nothing. I love this because I am a big fan of the audio commentaries, especially with The Simpsons. And that so often, unfortunately, they just have these big moments of silence. It's like, did we really do this? Oh, I suppose this was us. Well, there you go.
Yeah, because they would have written them 10 years before director's commentary was a thing. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Daniel, what would you change about this episode?
Yeah, I would have liked to see Lisa lose, I think, in the end, which probably would galvanize Homer and Lisa in that respect, and then show that he's not just using her the whole time and happy to just kind of go back and do the exact same thing, That, and it would make them feel a bit more small town, which I think is one of the strengths that The Simpsons, when it's doing its best, plays towards, playing off that small town vibe. And if Lisa wins some sort of national contest, I think it's going to be
scratchy, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit like, this is weird, So yeah, I probably would reverse the final ending there. Yeah, and then kind of bring them together in the loss.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would cut most of the first act, and I'd just find a way to, instead of having one big extreme Homer scene, have three little ones. and
Yeah.
like just to like correct that balance in the story where
Well, even then, there's a bit where he's yelling at the lighting guy, and Lisa just doesn't notice. Have her notice then, and be like, "Dad, you have to be so mean." He's just like, "This is what you need to do to get things done."
but doesn't the green look great against your skin? Oh, it does. Yeah.
I mean, all she had to do was notice.
Yeah.
And change maybe 3 lines of dialogue.
Yeah, some very easy fixes in this one. So, BT, do you have any other notes?
I believe I do. I may have missed it because I was writing stuff down, but at one point, as Hot Dog is dancing with a cell phone, was there a lead into that?
No, it was just during the
Okay.
the Fantasia song, and her character was called Caleris or whatever. And it was like in that moment where the hot dog and the phone were dancing, and then Apu and Snake sort of reconcile.
So you're
That's kinda
saying
cute.
hot dogs and phones are bitter enemies, finally brought together with the power of song.
Obviously.
Have you
yes.
seen a hot dog and a phone together?
I've made them kiss before.
Now kiss.
And I did have one other... No, in all seriousness, can we get a Twitter poll saying Twizzlers or Red Vines?
I'll set that up.
Seriously, is this a thing? I want to know. My last, I kind of liked it, but kind of didn't, is when Homer describes himself as both a colonel and a captain. It's like, wait, which are you? Neither, I'm both.
It was dumb, but like I liked the delivery.
I like
delivered well, definitely.
neither, I'm both, yeah.
Yeah. Daniel, do you have any other notes?
I think I do. Millhouse, when Krusty's like, "You're a funny looking kid
Yeah.
who doesn't know he sucks," and Millhouse's like, "I'm a coming." Yeah, that just worked for me. Even
Oh, you can so see him being part of that like fail footage on American
Oh,
Idol.
exactly. Yeah, Millhouse fits into it entirely.
Actually, I'm a little disappointed we didn't get like a blooper reel.
Yeah, exactly. If Millhouse just doing stupid stuff. I mean, if they're making that American Idol angle, it could have been nice to like do that sort of backstage kind of stuff they do. Like, you know,
Yeah.
those media packages they do building up to it. Do one for
yeah.
Millhouse. That would have been golden, you know?
Yeah.
So, something like that. No.
Yeah.
Probably quite relevant on the back of Fergie's national anthem.
Oh
They
my
kinda-
god.
Yeah.
Wasn't that just
That
a
was something else.
glorious train wreck?
Yeah, exactly. And then
Hey,
she-
if you get a train wreck, do it
yeah, do it
gloriously.
right. Do
Oh,
it right.
absolutely.
Yeah, but that's probably commenting on the middle part of what has become the zenith of people trying to turn simple songs into
Yeah.
vocal gymnastics. You
Yeah.
know, which I think Fergie's kind of brought to a glorious end.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. The arrow in the eye. He just gets he's like, I get it. Yeah, I get it. They like it.
They got a surprisingly large amount of mileage from the applausometer.
They did. The applausometer worked really well for something that's so like dumb.
Yeah.
That it did go pretty funny. I thought, the
And
applausometer.
Like, I didn't like that they spelled it out, but I did like the joke. Oh, even it's crying. Oh, it's battery acid.
Yeah, it would have been better if his glove was just dissolving and he didn't notice. Or,
Yeah.
Or ran off.
Yeah. Show don't tell. Yeah.
Exactly. Homer, when he has a little freak out and he's just screeching, "It's called schmoozing," talking about slashing people's tires. I thought, a good little gag to
but
it.
I think they pushed that too far. When it's like, no, we're going to go home and have family fun.
Yeah,
family fun.
Definitely.
It's like, oh, you
if
just
they left
killed
it at
this.
it's called schmoozing, I thought
Yeah.
it could have been good.
Yeah, I wish that, like, when Homer had that 10% saddest sign, I'm like, I wish I had a sign. Dial it down, like, 90%.
Yeah, exactly. That, and I think I got one more here. Homer's little comment that he learnt the first thing you got to learn about show business: don't trust anyone in show business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a nice little fact from Homer,
yeah.
I think.
Unlike podcasting, in which you should trust everyone.
Trust everyone.
Especially the Simpsons Index,
Yeah.
like and subscribe.
We're the only source you can trust.
Mhm.
Sorry, I just like that face you gave after. That's a source you can trust. You're like,
Like there was a camera here shooting our ad.
yep.
I'm glad they saw it the second time that you
Yeah,
did it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain what that looks like. Tilt your head a little too dramatically to the left.
Yep.
Then grin like there's something wrong with your face.
All right, time for my quick fire notes. Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew, pew. Don't think I forget that theme.
Damn it. Vegetables, you've been upgraded from side dish to entree.
Still confusing because I don't like how Americans call main dish the entree.
It's one of those things where, like, we're the only country that doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're the only country that's right.
Fact.
Look,
Bloody fact.
being right starts with one,
Straight
and
up.
then it moves out.
It's like when we freak out about people driving on the right side of the road. It's us.
Yeah.
It's us in England.
Yeah.
To the left.
Why did I write the note bus feces?
Why did you write
Yeah, I
the
know,
bus
man.
feces? You sure it's bus?
Is it Buscemi?
The writer of the last episode, Dick Biscuity, or whatever his name was, staying down, crap vom inbox bus feces.
Crap down inbox.
Did the joke
bus
really make you
feces.
angry or something?
I'm not sure.
Crap box bus feces.
Well, I know I didn't like the whole exchange where Bart's like, I have to crap, and Marge is like, don't say crap, oh crap, crap. Yeah.
It might be where Maggie throws up in that little wind-up box.
Box.
Don't know where you're getting
That's not-
feces
Yeah,
from.
feces going somewhere else.
Yeah, I think it was one of the follow-up lines. But yeah, I liked Maggie throwing up in the Jack in the Box and like hurriedly winding it.
Yeah.
Hey, listeners, so I just want to stop the podcast to point out that my note actually was bug feces. When Lisa says, it's a shock when you eat vegetables full of vitamins, minerals, and trace amount of bug feces. I like this joke, and that's why I wanted to point it out. And it's a shame because of my crappy handwriting. Anyway, back to the show. There was a really weird thing where there was an outside shot of the house and it was static, and then Homer just had this line of, oh, Lisa's taking care of me and Bart's my pillow. Everything's normal. It was just weird.
Yeah, to have that as the static, yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't enjoy Fantasia Barrino's performance, especially doing that, oh, the mockingbird, it's gonna sing, and doing that American Idol note.
It's pronounced burrito.
I stand corrected. Quick fire! I liked how the piano store that Homer runs into is the toothless elephant.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I hope that wasn't Stampy in there.
Yeah, it probably was.
One of Lisa's rhymes, how did it start? It ended with chicks have big gazongas.
I can't remember, but I do like this one. Wait, what?
Is this what Dad? Krusty's whole thing about his stockbroker was really shitty and laboured. I liked the fake out with the wine glass.
Oh, yeah.
Honey, every time you hit that note, I'll shoot a wine glass with this BB gun.
And just cracks the lamp.
Yeah, like that he has perfect pitch, that once he hears, A440, he can...
He probably does.
That's also another good point. Plays into Homer's kind of weird musical savantism.
Yeah.
I like it.
He is, man. The whole thing about Moe's getting a widescreen TV and I can watch my profile. Like, this didn't need to be here.
No,
this is shit that you could have cut.
Yeah, I like the setup where it's like, well, honey, I'm not going to be around much anymore. It's like, why? Oh, Mose is getting a widescreen TV. And then
That's
just
enough.
cut it. Yeah.
But then for an episode where he continues to be there, it's just
Well,
stupid.
getting one. He said it was like...
On the other hand, though, I'm going to play devil's advocate here for this one.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good gag about the Pro Bowl. It's just honestly, in no one gives a shit about it in the NFL. It's just like these millionaires get thrown into two random teams and play each other. No one cares about it. They just play it in Hawaii or something, so everyone goes.
Yeah.
So it has that kind of stupid, I'm going for the blue team kind of vibe.
And yet, when you call it state of origin, everyone gives a fuck.
Don't worry about it, man. Exactly. You got to place it in the state.
Yeah.
During Homer and Lisa's fight, I didn't like a lot of the material, but the whole, and now you don't like how the sausage gets made. Do you want to see how sausage gets made? And Lisa's like, I don't like sausage. And yeah, I thought that was a good exchange.
Yeah. I remember the next line is her firing him, though, and it's like, I don't feel you've earned this.
No, that's ruined by it, but not quite ruined. Because it's still
tainted.
It was in that whole weird bit where they just kind of furthering the plot with very strange logical jumps, I think.
Yeah.
Which kind of ruined what could have been a great sausage gag.
Love a good sausage gag.
Oh, yeah, boys.
And so my final note is, what did you guys think of the Buzz Cola prison?
Got weird. I like that their trap door was sponsored. That was funny. But then later on, when they're all trapped in there, like, some of those children are dead.
Yeah.
They've been there for weeks.
Real black hole of Calcutta vibe.
Yeah.
And they hang on it way too long. It just should have been a lot more brief.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did that a few times, really hang shit on 8-year-olds.
Yeah, definitely.
For no real reason, no real ends to it. They're just like, 8-year-olds suck. Let's just hammer them.
Fuck you, children.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Up yours, children.
All right, guys, it is time to rank this thing. BT, kick it off.
Despite having some interesting ideas, I feel like they're just not tied together well enough, and I didn't get a lot of good jokes. So I am sitting at a participant for this one. I was a participant bronze for a little bit, but I just don't think there's enough to pull me through overall.
Yep.
So participant from me.
All right, Daniel.
Okay. Look, I thought it was structurally better than the last episode. I thought it paid off a lot better in some ways. It was paced better, but also in saying that, I felt there were a lot of jokes that didn't land. Probably more jokes than the last episode that didn't land. I'm going to give it a bronze all up, I
Yep.
think. Yeah.
All right. God damn it. I thought this would help.
Yes, Elliot, what are you doing?
Man, I really want to be positive here, but yeah, but I said I'd watch it again, and I kind of would.
Hangover, watch it again, or like, hey, this one is on, I'm going to sit down and watch it again?
BT, I'm going to do your thing, and I'm going to say them both out loud and see how it feels.
Yep.
I give this a bronze. I'm going to give this a participant. Oh, God.
Sometimes it helps and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, the heart guts feel participant, but the brain also feels participant.
That sounds unanimous, you know.
Yeah.
What? How do your feet feel?
I was going to say, how do the knees say?
The knees are all like bronzed or all collapse.
Yeah, I'm just participant.
Ooh.
I want to.
Say it, you bastard! Say it.
Just spend some time trying to convince yourself of either side.
I know, but I've drawn a P. I can easily change that into a B.
Yeah, there's definitely a curvy boy you can throw in there, make that a B.
Nah, I'm sticking with participant.
Yeah.
I like that it's become a shiny participant.
Yeah, it's definitely a cut above your standard participant, but
Yeah, but let the record show that in the podcast I had a difficult time making that decision. But ultimately, this will be a shiny participant. This will be joining other such episodes as Homer versus Dignity when he gets raped by a panda, Simpsons Safari when he goes to Africa. That actually happened.
no, I know. It's just a lot of things happen in that episode, but that's definitely the standout moment of going, oh.
This ranking system is fucked. I hate this show. The fact that Homer gets raped as a panda suit is at the same
maybe
level.
Don't lead with that. No, that's a weird one, which it starts off pretty good, and then after that whole zoo scene, just go, bow,
Just
dies.
bottoms out.
Just goes,
It's really
dies in the
weird,
arse.
yeah.
It's true.
The shiny participants are like that. Like Marge Gamer when she gets hooked on WoW, there's some nice moments in that, but ultimately it's just not a great parody. And then
You could say that's similar to this one, that it just doesn't sell any of the American Idol stuff.
Yeah, it's got a lot of parts that could work
Yeah.
if they were just assembled a bit
Pushes
better.
for it and dresses it up like it's going for it, but just doesn't land anything.
absolutely.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for the teens era. Now we're going to go wash ourselves in the classic era right now. We're going to go back to season 3's Dog of Death. And we are back, and we just watched our classic and final episode for the evening, and it was Season 3, Episode 19, Dog of Death. This was first released in March of 92, and it was written by John Swartzwelder. In this episode, Springfield is in like a fever pitch over the lottery, but this whole time, Santa's little helper is getting really sick. And he has to go in for a really expensive operation, and the Simpsons really pinch pennies to make this operation happen. Guys, what did you think?
It's
Loved
good.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have to be made of stone to not feel things for this episode.
And I'm made of titanium biocarbon.
But it got in somehow, didn't it?
Yeah, not stone.
But
Titanium biocarbon.
no, this episode just so resonated with me as a dog lover as well. Grew up with dogs and everything, and this just gets me right in the feels, man. So
Let's talk about those feels.
all right. So BT, for better or worse, what's a story moment that stood out to you?
I think the whole lottery thing is great.
Oh, definitely. What a way to kick off the episode.
Yeah, and as we noted, many great episodes do just start with them just watching TV.
Yep.
And I think it's a great little commentary. But here it's at Moe's bar, and it's, I heard the lottery's up to 130 million. Did you say 130 million? Did you say 100? Yeah.
It was so great to just launch into the enthusiasm of the episode. And,
Yeah, which then launches all the fever pitch that everyone gets into. And yeah.
and it started with a great parody commercial as well. Hey, Mr. Employer, I don't need your job anymore.
Well, I don't need you. I won the lottery.
Which is bold. I gotta say, starting with something like that. That's Swartzwelder though, isn't it? He loves that like Americana kind of stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
really plays that up. So you gotta love that.
Definitely. There was actually a great bit of Swartzwelder Americana in this episode as well, as we're following the dot of Santa's little helper on
Yeah.
the map.
To the sounds of Peter and the Wolf. Yeah.
Oh, is that what that is?
There you go.
Yeah.
Like very old Americana like styling as well, doing the map thing and the dot.
Yeah, a little bit, what's it called? Huck Finn.
Yep. Well, yeah, going down the raft and then fighting a bear.
Did you see there was a couple of names on there? I think it went through Swartzwelder County.
Yep.
And then went down, I think it was Michael Jackson Freeway.
Yeah, that's right. Because that had been, previously named from the Stark Raving Dad.
Oh, there you go.
Season 3 opener. And I love how, Santa Little Helper Black Dot sees a little cat in a red dot and they chase. It's like really good jokes there. But, the lottery. So, what else did you guys like about that?
Well, I now understand one of its references of Shirley Jackson's The Lottery, having now read all her stuff except for the lottery, weirdly enough.
Really?
Yeah, but I know what it's about, though. So, it's actually a chilling tale of conformity gone mad.
Oh.
Yeah, he just throws it in the fire, and I like that it gets reprised later, and he throws the dog surgery book in there.
And another interesting thing, Bill Cosby's fatherhood was in there as well.
Yeah.
See, this was just a reference to the Boxcar Derby episode that had been previously aired, but now it takes on a whole new meaning.
Oh, yeah.
I thought when we're looking at that whole lottery angle, Skinner through that whole thing, he's just psychopathic sort of, we're going to have magnets in this detention room. And
magnets, always with the magnets.
What else did he say? What did he say? There's no second Korean War. Get rid of that base 6 crap in the maths book.
I think it was how the Korean War actually ended. Textbooks
in the textbooks.
Yeah.
I do like the quickie mart as well. It's like, Sanjay, it's time for you to take another run to the bank. He puts on the bulletproof vest. Like, well, if I die, please don't sleep with my wife. I promise nothing.
That was a bit of great pre-Manjula Apu right there.
Yep.
The whole, because when a lottery does start, peaking, people do really get swept up in a fever pitch over it.
Absolutely. I thought it was quite an interesting attack on that kind of regular folk mentality,
Yeah.
That idea that they just do whatever with their money, They're like, I'll just throw it in that and then just throw all of my attention towards that. And it's just this mob mentality that really
I think it's
forward.
really epitomized well with when Homer runs home. He's like, Marge, I have a feeling that we're going to win the lottery, but we never, ever now. I know you're excited.
That's actually quite interesting when we were talking about how they really need to dial it down a lot in those later episodes that we saw. In a later episode, he could have just massacred that line, but I felt he was really undersold. He was just kind of like, I really think we're going to do this. You know what I mean? Yeah, as opposed to really going over the top. I thought that was great. Yeah. Sells it very well.
And the assumption of her reaction as well. Of like, oh my gosh, we are.
And he's just got it all planned in his head. Like, hey, calm down.
Settle down, honey. Yeah. And the idea that he wouldn't even know what to do with the money when he got it, that his best plan for the money was to, increase his size somewhat, somehow.
And just turn yourself into gold. Exactly.
Oh, hail King Homer.
It reminded me of, I think there's a big case in the States at the moment. This woman won something stupid like $130 million sort of stuff. She didn't want her... identity to be thrown out there because she was afraid that she'd just get mobbed and everything like that. Yeah. People like Homer, like your average person on the street, they just would be like, I'm going to spend this everywhere. Because I think it's something like the average lottery winner is more likely to go bankrupt than your regular person. You know what I mean?
They just start throwing it around without thinking.
Exactly. So I think that was quite interesting that they really sort of hammered that home. Just this idea of like a regular guy just throwing that money into something like that.
And just for the story as well, during this whole lottery pitch, you've got Santa's little helper wandering around the background looking weaker and weaker. And
doesn't even notice.
Yeah, they did really interesting colouring with him as well to just make him look a bit more pale.
And sickly
and just peppering it in, not really calling attention to it, just having him walk by in one scene, hey, down in front, and then having Maggie poking his eye, that sickly...
And even going off that Santa's little helper thing, looking at Grandpa and the way he reacts before he really got flanderized, I think he was just super blunt and super like gruff and wasn't like super senile, and they weren't playing up these like rambling stories.
Yeah, it was more, dogs wear their tails for ages after they die.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll get a shovel.
He was just super blunt about everything. Like, we got to get this done. It felt more like some bloke who's grown up in the 20s sort of stuff.
Yeah, and there's no time for your touchy-feely dog surgery bullshit. Dog's dead.
Exactly, yeah. As opposed to a guy who's like, there's an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time, So I thought that was quite good.
Yeah, and it's weird, we often criticize them for doing an irrelevant first act, but I think all of this was really important to set up that they didn't really have a lot of money and they didn't have much to work with. And this was a kind of a hard decision. I think that's what the story moment that stood out to me was,
when they have to do the drive home.
And they're like, oh dear.
Yeah, well, the thing in the first act here, it sets up everything that happens in the remainder. The thing you get Lisa talking about needing the Copernicus, Bart getting his hair cut, the fact they don't have a lot of money to begin with, and Marge just has this one. She even says, I have my weekly lottery ticket with the girls. That's all the excitement I need.
Yeah. And it also gives them a basis to kind of lash out at the dog.
Yeah.
Which otherwise would feel kind of out of place.
Yeah.
They're just happy because they're under this duress and under this stress. They're happy to just kind of, fuck you, dog. You know, like,
which still felt very harsh, but I mean, I'm on the dog side.
I know,
I was just like, oh, I'll play ball with him.
You say that, but I looked up what chub is after all these years. Pork chop night will now be chub night.
You know, I've always like pictured chum like the dog food when they said chub. Is it anything like that? Just
no, it is a thick-broiled European river fish with a grey, green, and black-white underparts.
good lord.
ew.
Yeah,
Is there
Green
any sort of like
underparts.
taste angle you've got there on the phone?
Sounds like a white
let
fish.
me see if I can bring up.
But yeah, what else was it? It was organ meat night and ham night. It's now spam night.
Ham night is now spam night.
Yeah, seriously, Hawaii, like, you do everything right. Tacos, ukuleles, surf and sun, it's all great. But enough with the spam already, Hawaii. Come on.
Let's not get too deep into the spam hating. Thank you very much, Elliot.
You're a fan of spam?
I love a good spiced ham. Thank you very much.
What?
Spiced ham in a can? It's spam. Come on.
Oh, man. You can even open up the can?
I'm willing to do it.
So I got eatwisconsinfish.com. Bloater chubs have the highest amount of omega-3 fatty acids of the Great Lakes commercial fish species. They are very oily and make a wonderful smoked fish.
Excellent.
Chubs are smoked in salt brine overnight and then placed in a smoker for 4 to 5 hours.
Sounds kind of decent, you know.
Oily and salty.
Yeah. Nice, oily, salty white fish.
It's chub time.
Yeah. Actually, and then I was complaining about spam, and then I'm sure some listeners are like, ew, you and your
I'm
fucking
liking
chub.
Yeah.
So, Daniel, what's a story moment that stood out to you?
Oh, okay. I love the whole Burns angle. From when he's introduced up until the very sort of last moment when he gets to release the hounds on Bart.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he was he's a reliable villain. Every single time he comes on the screen. I guess the kind of goodwill they've built up already by the third season, they were able to just throw him on and then make it happen, which I think speaks to how strong he is as a character. So I think every time Burns came on the screen and that whole sort of angle was great. That, and I feel like, once again, it's given me more insight to the past 2 episodes.
Yeah.
They focused on the story first
and
focused on making a really heartfelt, warm family sitcom sort of vibe, something they go for, and then they bring the jokes, and then they start to kind of fly off in different directions from there. So they have, like any good Simpsons episode, they have a really nice heart to it and a really nice, simple family angle, and then they start hammering jokes home.
Start with that solid core and then build from
exactly.
that.
Yeah. So I just thought the whole core of the episode was fantastic. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does have a great little Mr. Burns line I have to write down when Homer asks for money and has him dragged on. He goes, Smithers, what would make a man risk his job and, yes, even his life by asking me for money?
Yeah. And a nice, great way to put him in the episode early, just to, remind for those who hasn't seen, this is a bad dude.
Exactly.
Saying, well, you've asked me for money, that's endangering your own life there, fella.
But yeah, just nice and subtle. And yeah, the Mr. Burns thing also led to a really interesting Clockwork Orange parody, which I really appreciated.
Gotta love it, huh?
Yep.
For those of you who haven't seen it, don't know the reference, it's when Santa's little helper's in the chair and he's got his eyes fixed open. And
Yep, Smithers is putting eye drops in there. And
nothing to Ludwig van. Nothing. But yeah, who was the politician that had the dogs by the hands?
I think it was Nixon.
Was it Nixon?
I think so. It was quick.
I was getting an Ike Eisenhower vibe.
Maybe
but
it was.
I don't know.
It's quick.
I don't think either of us have any sort of angle that we can go with.
I just know
the
Simpsons enjoy ripping on.
They
Nixon.
already ragged on Nixon once.
Hell,
in that episode.
Yeah, true.
Why not do it again?
Well, there's got to be a doggy hell, of course. There's Hitler's dog and Nixon's dogs, Chubbers, Checkers.
Chester.
And
Checkers.
that other lassie.
The one that mauled Timmy.
Making a weird Google search. Presidents, dogs. Oh, it's Lyndon Johnson.
There you go.
Yep.
All the way with LBJ, huh?
Yeah, let's see. There we go. Sorry if you guys can't see it properly from that angle.
Oh wow, he literally is picking the dog up by its ears.
Sorry to you guys who can't quite see it over the microphone.
Look up Lyndon B. Johnson, dog
LBJ,
terrorist.
dog abuse. Yeah. Dog terrorist.
There we go. And, of course, it's John Swartzwelder. It had to be an actual reference to something.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so play count. How many times before tonight do you think you've seen this episode?
Oh, man. I'd say a Lyndon B. Johnson's worth.
An LBJ's worth.
Yeah.
How about you, Daniel?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because I don't know if it's stuck in my head so well or if I've just seen it a bunch of times. I'd say upwards of 6 or 7.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon I've seen this probably 50 times just from,
Jesus.
like, syndication alone.
Yeah.
Because, like, the first 4 seasons were just hammered on network TV, Channel 10, 6 o'clock every
Good point.
night.
Yeah, good point. I'm probably gonna double my 6 or
Yeah.
7. Just saying that,
Well, yeah, because
12 to 14.
because it was just on, it was almost like it was wallpaper. It was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
always there. So, ultimately, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
I mean, come on.
No.
Yeah. Nah.
Nah.
Santa's Little Helper.
It felt like an
would've-
episode of Step by Step, all right?
Kind of did.
I'm sorry, there are a lot of photos of Lyndon Johnson handling beagles like this. And I'm trying to find out why. Like, he's got to have a reason for doing this. Like, it makes them taller? I don't know.
Makes him tall. He loves a good tall beagle.
I'm trying to research while podcast at the same time. It's tough.
It definitely feels like an episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
There is no way that it doesn't. Like I said earlier, my favorite thing with the story is that they concentrated on it first and concentrated on creating a heartfelt moment first and then adding the jokes later.
That's it.
Even like it probably felt about 20 minutes longer than the other episodes we've watched, just because.
It was in no rush as well. That's what I
Exactly,
like.
yeah. It all just kind of unfolded and they just fit so much so quickly that it just felt effortless. And which was strange to see after what we just kind of seen, those first few episodes where they're just hammering jokes and this is what's happening. Da, 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 da.
No, that's right. They really cared about taking the time to build the solid foundation in each episode and, like, not just expecting you to remember all these character traits and everything. Like, they just reinforce them, but in a way that doesn't feel forced.
Yeah, that's
and
true. Yeah.
It's really eloquent. And I love these Santa's Little Helper episodes. It's a tricky thing to do to have an episode focused on a character that can't really talk and emote. Sorry, is anyone else getting a weird thing in their headphones, or is it just me?
I'm getting weird facts about LBJ. His dogs were called Him and Her.
What?
Him was killed when he was hit by a car driven by the Secret Service. And it just seems like he just did that. That's just how he played with his dogs. He held them up by their ears because
all right.
This was a sick man. And it sparked a lot of controversy back in the day.
Lyndon B.
And it's a saga, quite frankly.
Wow.
Coming soon to HBO.
Yeah. Speaking of Vietnam, of course, you got Skinner kind of coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm used to my government betraying me. I was in Nam.
Yeah.
Very strong always.
I do like the slowly falling face of the guy presenting him with the eraser when he does that.
Yeah.
It just kind of goes, "Here's your eraser." Oh, God, he's so angry.
Yeah, well, I mean, you messed with his plan of the detention hall with the magnets.
Always with the magnets. And,
Yeah, bitch!
and textbooks that tell them how the Korean War ended. Kind of important.
Yeah, this is totally integrity, 100%. Everyone feels on top. But how about the wackiness of this episode? Yeah, we already talked about King Homer, but that's like a fantasy.
Yeah. The vet has just a bin with a basketball hoop above it. And this is the part of the job I hate. Fuck.
Coping with a death of a hamster at your hands is a little bit easier if you made the three-pointer.
Imagine if you missed the three-pointer.
Yeah.
Because that guy does it without even looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
He's loved a lot of hamsters in his
that
time.
hamster's death meant nothing, I guess.
But as we know, as from the text at the end of the episode, no dogs were harmed in the making of this episode. One cat ran up a tree and someone shot a duck, but that's it.
Great tag. Someone
Yeah.
shot a duck. Thanks, Swartzwelder.
If we're talking about the wackiness of that episode, I think like it was still able to go so wacky even though it was so heartfelt, which is an amazing feat. I'm probably just going to talk about the two all-time jokes that are in that episode.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wiggum saying, "I'm sorry, this is 912." This is 912.
Yep.
That, and there's one thing he cannot buy, a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Two absolute all-time favorite jokes off The
Yeah.
Simpsons.
Yeah, that dinosaur line is one of my mum's favorites. You know, there's particular lines that from The Simpsons that really just make her so happy, and one of them is Chief Wiggum's from the monorail episode. "The ring came off my pudding can." She just loves how they divert in that song quickly to deal with his pudding.
Yeah.
And this other one of just Yeah, there's one thing he can't buy.
And I think he says it without, and then I just what? He's like, he has to think about it. He's like,
Yeah.
And I've heard people say this. How does it end? A dinosaur.
What's your mum's favourite?
Oh,
BT?
she enjoyed not having The Simpsons on.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Big fan
Okay.
of that.
Big fan of that, huh?
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle. So, Mum, can we watch The Simpsons? No. Wash up. Fine, bring the TV in. We're meant to have civilized conversation.
Now it's easy to just bring iPads to the dinner table
I
and
know,
not
it's
talk to
exactly,
anyone.
We slowly wore her down from, okay, sometimes you can bring the TV into, the TV can be in the living room all the time, but not always on. Okay, it's pretty much always on. It's not truly wacky, but I never noticed this one before, is after Maggie's clothes rip off, there's a bit where she's lying in bed and she's wearing a Crown Royal bag, which is a type of Canadian whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
I never noticed that's what bag it was.
I just assumed it was like a potato bag. I didn't
Yeah,
say,
I think I had the same thing. I never, nope, whiskey.
Yeah, well, there was a bit of implied wackiness as well at the vets when the nurse comes out. We saved your gamecock, but he'll never fight again.
That's what you think. He'll fight and he'll win.
Oh, goddamn. Like, there were some of those good moments. And also, it was a fantasy sequence. Oh, Marge, it's going to be as easy as carving up a turkey.
Yeah.
But I guess because
That would have
he was remembering it, that
Yeah.
may have happened.
I think that happened. It was enough to make him realize he shouldn't do this surgery. So.
Yeah.
Even still going on absurdity right at the end there with Brockman.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, your llama has mauled Ted Kennedy.
Good.
Yeah.
I think he invited Ted Kennedy around, and
Of course he
just
did.
on the hopes
Yeah.
something bad would happen to him.
Ted Kennedy.
Good. Now bring in the alpacas.
He'll never survive them.
So, how about the heart of this episode?
Oh,
You
Oh
know,
my
it's all there in
goodness.
that final leap where
Yeah.
Santa's little helper's chasing down Bart and just
I love you,
launches
boy.
at him.
I love you, boy. And then, going through
beautiful
the other
montage.
Yeah, and especially contrasting the other montage, the forced viewing, of all the bad things, and then to have this thing with all the joyous music and them playing together, and you see Santa's little helper's little face change midair.
Yeah,
Just
it's beautiful.
gorgeous, yeah.
And then when he defends him from the other greyhounds, you're like,
Yeah,
I'm not crying, you're crying, I'm also crying.
it's a beautiful tag that works in place of Mr. Burns getting involved in the end of that story.
Yeah, so he just says, release the hounds. So
Yeah.
he's in his chamber at that point, just release the hounds.
Yeah, so it works. You don't need to see Bart and Santa's little helper getting away at all, and
Yeah.
that was just such a beautiful heart moment. Although I thought the family were quick to be mean to the dog,
They were, but I think because they're just such a lower middle class family, and they had that stress on them with the finance. They never meant it. They were all just kind of like, fuck you,
It's just been a bad week.
I think it's
Exactly,
not strictly speaking justified, but it's understandable. Homer never really liked the dog to begin with. Marge is busy sewing back Maggie's clothes.
Yeah.
Lisa, arguably she wouldn't have been as aggressive, but I think Bart's just lost his hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just cranky. He's 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's 10 and tense.
10 intense. The heart's all over the place. It's like you can't move without saying some of it. I mean,
Can't move without stepping in hard.
it's just so much heart. We got to clean the place up. But there was a certain sweetness to every character who was in that that sometimes you don't see in later episodes, I guess. And they always, everything they did was kind of grounded in a sweetness and a care. Even smaller things, even smaller jokes. Like Marge at one stage says, "Watch your language." Oh, you did. Sorry.
You don't write them on set.
Yeah. That was cute, and that was really sweet, and it was it was quite heartfelt and really even watching Homer try to explain a serious thing to Bart, about
doggy heaven.
about doggy heaven. That was done with so much care towards Bart and done with so much care towards Lisa as well, and they knew what was going on. They pretty much.
But I do like the pit he accidentally steers himself into. It's is there a doggy hell? It's well,
there has
of
to be.
course there's got to be.
Exactly. I love that. You got to love that trope of parents having to explain serious things to their kids. And it's obviously one of the better examples of it, but it's always pretty fun to watch.
And you see Bart slowly piecing it together while Lisa's already mad at Homer because she's already figured it out.
She gets it, yeah. I thought that was a good way to play it with Bart when they decide not to go through with the surgery.
Yeah.
And he's just very like confusedly, like
Like,
where are we
can't help
going?
but notice we're
We're
leaving.
leaving. What's happening? When's he getting the surgery? Da, da, da. So like almost trusting that it's going to happen. Like, so what's happening? Like, not even like, hang on, what's going on here? It's like, oh, okay, so when's this happening?
We're doing
What are
it
we
later,
doing?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Even those small bits had so much heart and so much family kind of connection to them and everything. Yeah,
is built with purpose.
exactly. Yeah.
And it's the perspective of a child as well that he doesn't get like the whole financial situation.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, dog needs surgery, get dog surgery.
Yeah, exactly. And this is really great because, like you said before, Homer didn't really care much either way. But then when Santa's little helper, puts his head on his lap.
Yeah. It
Licks
doesn't
his
take
hand.
much to melt him,
Oh,
does it?
lousy manipulative dog.
Marge, make him stop.
Yeah. It's never taken much to melt Homer.
No.
Yeah.
It comes down to it.
Melted me. I almost lost it in that moment. That was so beautiful. But yes or no,
Sure.
damn straight.
Would you watch it again?
Oh shit! Yeah,
I've done 73 of these.
it just kind of happened. I'm like, whoa. I'd watch it again, of course. I'd watch it again, like right now. You want to go? You want to go watch it again now? Go on.
Yes, definitely. We're going to watch it again. What playlist does it belong in?
References to Crown Royal.
Yeah. Smile with black tooth grin.
Santa's Little Helpers classics.
Yeah.
I'm going to say anything with a map and dots. I feel like we've done that a few
Yeah, there's
times.
been a few
Yep,
map
yep.
ones there.
Yep, John Swartzwelder classics as
Yes.
well.
Release the Hounds.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
absolutely.
good. Release the Hounds angle.
That's actually would be a good playlist. Release the
Yeah,
hounds.
yeah, because you don't say it too much later on, but quite early on you say a lot of Burnsy really going for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Smithers homoerotic moments.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I came waltzing into your house and sniffing your crotch and slopping on your face, what would you say?
Airfield did it, sir.
Yeah. So, guest stars of the episode. Do you know who played Santa's little helper?
Was it Frank Welker?
It was Frank Welker, one of the richest working actors in Hollywood because he can do every animal.
Yeah, it's crazy. I really want to watch footage of him doing stuff.
Just Frank Welker, the documentary.
Just to hear these sounds coming out of a human. It's
Yeah.
Who else does Frank Welker do?
Oh.
What else does Frank Welker
Any
do?
animation with an animal, Frank Welker.
Yeah.
No
Like,
shit.
it's crazy. So, like, pretty much everything from The Simpsons for sure.
Yeah.
He was in
He was
Futurama.
Nibbler, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was Nibbler.
Okay.
He's Nibbler's actual voice as well, isn't he?
Yeah. I can not only talk, I can pontificate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
he's also
No,
got that
right.
very bold voice, and he's a good
beautiful.
actor as well.
All right.
They're just, must just fall in this.
Yeah. Now that you reminded me, he's actually like the highest paid actor in.
Yeah.
He's,
Or close
'cause-
to highest paid voice actor or something.
Yeah,
in regards
because
to
he
that.
can just cover anything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking him up online. His filmography is its own Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Like,
And when you
Okay.
think, I want to be an actor, it's like, do you want to be several types of animal?
yeah.
It's like, no.
Dude, that's all I ever wanted to be as an actor. Don't worry about that.
There's going to definitely be parts
It's
for
definitely
it.
an angle, isn't it?
He was Goro in Mortal Kombat.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, he's been in DuckTales. He was in Gremlins and Gremlins 2. He was the devil in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh, wow.
Abu in Aladdin. He was the deer in Tommy Boy, the Chris Farley, David Spade movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
You tell you that one thing that I will not watch a second time is
Yeah.
probably Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
Pegasus in Hercules. He was in Tarzan, Bugs Life, Rugrats. Yeah, he's just
He goes
over the
all right.
place.
Mhm,
Yeah, he-
Frank Welker does well for Frank Welker.
Yeah.
and musical moments of this episode. We already mentioned the
Peter and the Wolf, yeah.
Peter and the Wolf.
Yes.
Was there any other musical moments?
Not that I recall.
Unless you count, there was definitely a musical montage while the Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, the
that was
Ludwig
happening.
Van.
Yeah, a bit of Ludwig van. Yeah.
Oh, Ode to Joy. Duh.
Ode to Joy. Yeah, a bit of Ode to Joy.
Yeah. I will say there was just beautiful orchestration in this episode.
Yeah.
Like leading out from Act 1 where you're looking at Santa's little helper on the floor and the really dour mood and music there. But I love how they come back from the act break there where it's like, Grandpa, the dog's not dead. You shouldn't say things like that and toy with people's emotions. It's such a meta knowing wink. I love it.
Yeah, just his whole, oh yeah, the old man's off his rocker. If Grandpa thinks he's dead, he must be alive.
Yeah. That was a little bit of good grandpa in this episode as well.
Yeah, no, I'm tired of this conversation. Let's talk about something else. I'm going home.
Yeah. But Daniel, is there anything you'd change about this episode?
Ooh, that's intriguing. You have to dig pretty deep to really start to kind of change something about it.
Mm.
On the one hand, I'd always love to see more of the vet.
Yeah.
I always think he's funny every time he rocks up. Because he rocks up in the other episode when Santa's little helper's sick as well, doesn't he? Or,
it's in the clip show when...
The clip show, that's it. Yeah.
When Bart blows up Homer with
Yes.
beer.
I'd love to see more of him, but then again, I'm thinking if too much of him might be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And might dilute him.
But he has that, like, super suave voice that's just... inherently funny.
Exactly.
It's like Peterman from Seinfeld or Leslie Nielsen from The Naked Gun.
I think he's almost meant to be a George Clooney parody.
A little bit.
From ER.
Yeah,
I'd say so.
Yeah, he's kind of got that.
This would have been roundabout peak ER period.
Peak ER.
Yeah, it's either Clooney or it's like Proto McDreamy or McSteamy, whatever his name is.
Exactly. I don't know what I'd change. Tell you what, I'd always love it if they did some more of those sort of interesting different angles. For example, they had that POV of Santa's little helper jumping on Burnsy when he's in the suit.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting, and just a different different angle you wouldn't see in an animated show.
Definitely.
They obviously did a lot kind of through the show. I mean, even with super close up of him getting CPR from the. I don't know. I keep talking myself into corners, trying to change something about it. I reckon it's an extremely tight episode, so it's hard to change. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. BT?
Story-wise, I don't think there's anything you can really touch. I kind of want a few more jokes in there, but it's hard to tell. Am I just so used to these jokes I don't get as big a laugh anymore? Or is it just because other Schwartzwaldians we've watched and they just bang, 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 rapid fire and it's hilarious and you can't believe it. So I guess I just didn't find myself laughing as much in this one. It's still good and it's still fun and entertaining. And yeah, story-wise, it's really well structured. I am very surprised how quickly they lose Santa's little helper and then get him again. I remember that being longer, but it's not a problem because they're definitely out of time at this point.
Yeah.
But I guess it would have been nice to have him missing a bit more. Although I do love the line, that was his bowl, that was his leash, and that's the spot where he took a whiz on the carpet.
Yeah, in talking about what we'd want to change, I just keep remembering things about this episode I like, especially talking about the shots before. It's that shot when he's running into the light. Come on now, come into the light. There's a good boy. Come on. That was excellent. But things I'd change is actually there were a couple of moments of reused animation when Bart goes, well, I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to go out and find my dog. And Homer's like, I'll be right here watching TV.
Yeah, Bart's looped there.
Yeah, they're great lines, but the sync is just totally wrong with the lip movements and stuff. And it's just a shame. It doesn't hurt the episode. It's just a shame.
I think you've watched a lot of this show, haven't you?
Yes.
You getting that impression?
Yeah, I'm starting to see that.
The reused animation was from 3F5208, so... BT, do you have any final notes before we rank this thing?
Indeed I do. I believe when Ned's on Mr. Burns' front porch, he's wearing assassins.
Yes, he is.
Ah, he is.
So it's a nice little visual reference there. I appreciate that.
Definitely. His assassins didn't get ripped up and chewed up by the dog.
Burns is like, oh yes, firm back, strong, proud buttocks. Reminds me of me.
I gotta say, the Greyhound is kind of as wiry as Mr. Burns.
Yeah, I kind of think that's a fair comparison.
Yep.
I also have, I knew he wouldn't win. Why'd you have to keep it a secret? Why did you share it with the rest of us? I think that's a great little cap to that.
You had to be Ted.
I think that outburst is a great little cap to Homer's obsession over the lottery. And the fact that he just can't believe he lost. It has to be some kind of outside force. Like Bart not being the right age. Or Grandpa knowing he wouldn't win, but not telling him. Got a bitter spite.
Dare he?
And he just had a strong feeling that he might win. Any other notes, Daniel?
Right at the start, right at the top, the blackboard gag. I saw nothing unusual in the teacher's lounge. I don't know. It's simple. It's evocative.
Yep.
You know, where's this going? What are you doing? But you'll never know.
What did he
never
see?
know what Bart saw in that friggin' the teacher's lounge, will you?
Because no one else was in the room where it happened.
Exactly. And I just can't get over the vet. I love the vet every time. What did you say? They can't thank me. Well, the parrots can.
Oh, that was so... And delivered in that way as well.
Yeah.
Well, I saved their lives. They can't thank me. Well, the parrot can. Anyway, what have you got for me?
Yeah, exactly. You just
that moment of you're trying this job, but there's just so much death, and you try to wade through it, and sometimes the parrots thank you.
And Mr. Laswell, I've done it again.
Yep. That was actually another squeaky voice teen that did not look like a squeaky voice teen as
you
we know
can
today.
throw it on that playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Squeaky voice teen that doesn't look like squeaky voice teen.
Yeah, because it's him and Raphael. You know, the guy that sounds like this, the real sarcastic guy.
Yeah.
He keeps changing character
Rocks
model.
up every
That's
now
what
and
keep
then.
me waiting.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd have to be it. Maybe leaving it on a bit of a sour note. Bart.
Yeah.
Bart, probably one of the real emotional down points is when Bart turns to Santa's little helper, calls him a dumb dog.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
it was so
that's
harsh.
quite heart-wrenching, just watching that. Yeah, he just turns around and just dumb dog. Like it weighs so much more than all of the other family members who have said probably more than he did. He said it in 2 words more than anyone else could, and it just
Lisa was all, can't you see I'm trying to read a third-rate biography of Copernicus I found at the bus station. This huge sentence has nowhere not as much impact as dumb dog.
Exactly, yeah. And Santa's little helper just kind of wanders off.
All right, it's time for my final quick fire notes.
Ooh, yeah.
Ba-bang, ba-bang, bang.
Pew, pew, pew. I like how you're trying to distract me from that.
Yes.
With a bang, bang, bang. Nope. Pew, pew, pew.
In that opening bit, I did love the boss, how he goes, well, I don't need employees either. Why don't you win the lottery too?
Yeah, I do like it as a question. Why don't you win?
The state lottery.
What are you, a sucker?
Actual chances of winning one.
380 million.
Yeah. Homer's, when he called up Bart, I need some lucky numbers. What's your birthday? What's your birth date? When's your sister's birth? You don't know your sister's birthday.
What kind of brother are you?
That was a bit of a dumb audio joke, but I liked it. And as well as Homer going, that's okay, honey. When the kids are asked, what do you think we should do with the money? I like how they had real sensible suggestions. Lisa's, give it to the poor. Bart's like, put it in the bank.
Kids, they don't know what to do.
When in the truffle episode, Lisa was saying they should put it in the bank and get a 0.0001% interest, which...
Mhm.
And Bart hated it.
Yeah. But I'm going to say, given today's interest rates, that's, get that deal.
But also, I'd think that it's quite interesting that was probably very separate from what Bart would actually genuinely think.
Yeah.
And it was probably closer in the later episodes
Just
to how
be
Bart would be. Than...
All the comic books.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, you'd have like that fantasy that he has in the... when the power plant gets bought out by the German company, and Bart fantasizes, get a monster truck, fill my gut up with fudge.
Yep.
And I loved, actually, the story point that Kent Brockman won the lottery in this. I thought it led
That
to a
was
lot of
great.
great material.
Yeah.
Just launching up in the chair, spinning. into
Do we have a photo? There we go.
Anyway, terrible accident. Many people killed. Goodbye.
I'm not going to leave a $500,000 a year job just because I won the lottery. Hey, I'm a journalist.
And he's blinged to hell.
Yeah. Krusty was at the vet to get Mr. Teeny some more nicotine gum or something, nicotine patches.
Yep.
Oh, that poor monkey. And when Homer's describing all the dogs, all the lassies will be in doggy heaven with Old Yeller. And what about doggy hell? Oh, one of the bad lassies is there too. The one that mauled Timmy.
Yeah.
Timmy had it coming.
Yeah, he knows what he did.
It's like, what fell in the well? No, he's in the goddamn well again.
At some point, it's his fault.
Yeah, just every time. I think he's got like some Munchausen syndrome going on. But the dog can't say that, so he's mauled him.
I like how Heaven had a doggy door.
Yep.
This was worth flunking out of dental school. And as they're coming back from Act 3, and I got to point out the background here, that beautiful sunrise, the pink, the orange, look beautiful as they're yelling out for Santa's little helper. And Homer's like, oh, there he is. Oh, wait, that's a horse.
Easy mistake.
Well, from a distance, a horse would kind of look the same.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep. They're both brown sometimes.
Why did I write baby fire? Oh, yeah, because Santa's little helper rescues the baby from the fire.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's doing all these wonderful things, having a big adventure, the bear fight and everything. And then at just one point, they stop and just watch him like chew his own butt for a little bit.
Yeah. That's what dogs do.
That is so dog. When Burns and Smithers go to the dog pound owner is like seriously green. Like,
I missed that.
Yeah. Oh, he just looks so disgustingly off color. Like, I don't know, maybe he's got kennel cough or something.
It can happen.
Yeah, get your shots. What's this note? Oh, a bunker.
Yeah, Mr. Bird just punching him in the face. Poka.
Makes you annoyed for the dog.
Yeah, and I think that really works with the first-person perspective from Santa's Little Helper you were talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Definitely. And my final note is I want to pat him again. You can pat the cat.
Stupid cat.
What's the point? I love that just because, yeah, the cat's still here.
Yeah, never left. Whole episode, didn't mention it.
All right, guys, it is time to rank this thing. Daniel, kick it off.
I've been toying around this in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to know what a cubic zirconia looks like at this stage. I reckon it's too early. I don't want to start penning myself in, if you will, hemming myself in. So, on the back of a very strong story, a beautiful heart to the whole story, great family moments, and great jokes built on top of it, I'm going to give it a proper gold.
All right.
I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, the only real difference between gold and cubic zirconia, because I like to actually think of them as the same rank, it's just that gold is excellent, but cubic is essential. You know, when we're talking about the Simpsons experience, yeah, cubic zirconia are the essential ones that the show could not exist without, sort of speak.
Okay.
So, yeah, gold for you then?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a gold with a bit of a carbon look.
It's a very shiny gold. It's 14 karat gold.
Oh my God.
Encrusted with diamonds.
Well, I'm going to give it a cubic zirconia. And I'm absolutely letting my dog lover bias trickle in here.
That's fair.
This is just a beautiful episode that just story-wise folded out beautifully and is an example of doing the irrelevant first act right. You know, you're setting up themes and stuff that's reoccurring in the episode. You're not just rolling out the jokes. This is a good way to do emotional television that's still funny. So cubic for me. BT.
I'm a little conflicted. I'm just trying to feel where I stand on it. Because, yeah, it's a good story.
On your hind
and
legs?
It's got like a couple of Rory hellhounds. No, it's got a really good story that does flow nicely. It's got a good heart. I do like that it is a very simple family story.
Yep.
And we don't have to go to crazy places to get a good story out of it. I guess I just feel like there's a few quotable moments, but I don't feel like when I think of some of the cubics we've had, they've just been amazingly rapid fire. I do like how it's structured, so the first act does contain all the pieces for the remaining story.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just not quite feeling it as being absolutely essential to the experience. So I feel like I'm going to go gold on this one.
Yep.
Again, a very well-polished, well-looked-after gold. Something you'll put on the mantle and show the kids someday.
You're a cold man, BT.
I was born that way.
Yeah.
He's also a gold man. I'm a gold man. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's very fair. I totally get the gold ranking, and I do like that it's become a shiny gold. And this will be joining.
Yeah, I'm glad it's got at least one cubic in there.
Gold with hope for cubic.
Yeah. I think that's exactly
Should have
where
said
it
that.
belongs.
Yeah. Begging anyone else to give it.
If the episode lay its head across my lap and looked at me with puppy dog eyes and licked my hand,
Absolutely.
yeah,
You
okay,
tell
yeah.
me to stop it.
Yeah.
Elliot, make the episode stop. All right, well, this will be joining other such episodes as The Secret War of Lisa Simpson, which we reviewed last week with the Lisa Goes to Military School episode.
Sure.
It'll also be joining EIEI Dole, the tobacco episode, which I love. Two Cars in Every Garage, Three Eyes on Every Fish, the one where Burns runs for mayor, and the Three-Eyed Fish Blinky. And Homer and Apu, where Apu comes to live with the Simpsons.
It does remind me a lot of Three Eyes on Every Fish, actually.
Yeah.
In that very similar, strong story with the jokes sparse but good.
All right, guys. Well, I think that about does it for episode 74 of the Simpsons Index. Daniel, thank you for joining us on the
Not
podcast.
a single problem. I wanted to fight you every single time you listed the other episodes that got each ranking, but I don't want to get too far into that. You know what I mean?
You can listen to them all and hear our opinions.
All right, I'll get that. And I can fight you as soon as it ends. I
Yep.
think so.
Yep.
I have a feeling past Elliot made some very good points. Can't remember now. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Can't wait to have you back again soon.
Oh, I'd absolutely love to.
And thank you again for coming along, BT.
I really just have to walk downstairs. So it's really no big deal. You left a trail of pizza down here, and I just followed it. It's warm in this studio.
Yep.
I'd like to leave. I'd like to get down now.
All right, guys. Well, that about does it for the Simpsons Index this week. Hit us up on Twitter at Simpsons Index, Facebook.com/The Simpsons Index. And that's all the mustard in the house.
Thank you for checking out the Simpsons Index podcast. Don't forget to go to www.thesimpsonsindex.com for the spreadsheet and information about upcoming episodes.
And for today's extra content,
Bob Balaban's Ballad Band. No.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
Oh, yeah. That's come out a lot.
6 thick thistle sticks.
Yep.
All right.
Oprah and Uma own an okra puma. Still my favorite, not gonna lie.
Coming out of there.
Come on, man. Where's your
Oh,
pep?
Jesus.
Already went into it with a dry mouth.
Take 2.
There we go. That's enough moisture.
Had this weird realization that actors will do anything you put into a script. So we're like,
Man.
let's write a script called The Man Who Brought Us Beer.
Someone to do it. Someone to hit it hard. Yeah.
It's like, so what's my motivation in the scene? Okay, your scene is to bring us beer no matter
The next
what.
4 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an endurance piece.
Now remember, this is method acting, so we will be drunk.
Oh, did I forget to grab my notebook?
Oh, no. Oh.
You sat down and everything.
Oh, what did he do in the last one?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Next time, won't you sing with me?
Oh, I forgot to point that out because that's something that always bugged me growing up. That you can essentially remix the alphabet song into Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Yep,
Why has no DJ ever done that, y'all?
because they're fools.
Useless, huh?
And as we know, my mum didn't raise a fool. All right. Oh, but Daniel, if you could have a sandwich named after you, what would it be?
Oh. It'd have to be the Dirty Dan, and it would have to have pancakes involved somewhere.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hear in McDonald's in the States, they've got, for their breakfast sandwiches, they do the sausage, the bacon, the egg, and they slap it between 2 fucking the hot cakes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
they can do that. I'm imagining replace the bread with pancakes, but I'm not sure what's in the middle there. But you just got some sort of pancake sandwich. It'd be gross as hell.
Oh, yeah, but I'm on board trying, man.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's the kind of thing where you're going to get it in the morbid curiosity stage.
Absolutely.
Then probably never
Everyone
again.
everyone will try it once, yeah.
Except for me, I will live on it forevermore.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm actually at a bit of a milestone today. I've reached the back of my notebook, so I'm flipping it upside down and going the other
Whoa.
direction.
Congratulations.
Yeah, my signature yellow Simpsons Index notebook.
Which is so bright and fluoro that the people at home can hear it.
I'll just hold it up to the mic.
Oh.
Yellow.
Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, fuck Al Jolson. Like, and this is getting into a bunch of jokes that I didn't like. Oh, no, it isn't.
Still getting over LB Johnson just
Just abusing animals.
some dogs and it being like a point of controversy.
Lyndon B.
Yeah.
Never forget that this is the man that Robert Menzies back to the hilt. We should
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
remember this. He picked dogs up by the ears.
I know. Just he was the one who had all the boasts about his, weighing and stuff. There's that great recorded footage of him talking to a tailor who's like, "Need you to let out a bit extra space around my bung holes." So I
Yeah,
got
that's right.
and then he belches, and it's hilarious.
And he also had JFK killed. But hey,
Yeah.
let's not get into that. That's a different podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Very different podcast.
Join us for the Conspiracy Index. Coming whenever the government will stop it.
Is that
Stop silencing the truth.
It actually kind of reminds me of a Family Guy one now. The Kiss Forum one. Is
Yeah.
Stay tuned for Battlestar Galactica Forum. Welcome to Battlestar Galactica Forum.
Actually, you'd love it if we did a Battlestar Galactica Index.
Yeah. There's only like one filler episode of that entire show.